Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 2022 World Cuddle Championships. Uh, at the moment, I'm flying solo, but hopefully, I will have my co-host Solmen here soon. I am Toph Yamato, and we are going to get into game number one here. Uh, this is going to be byarmis versus Dan Man. Like we got a 5 going out from Dan Man here. Sorry, I am all times it turned around. So we got some drawing going on. Alrighty. Let's see. 9 for points coming out from the Dan Man. Little bit of pressure.
Can you hear
Playing.
me now?
Yes, I can hear you,
Oh,
Solman.
okay. I
Welcome.
randomly. Welcome. All right.
All right.
Space.
So byarmis has popped out a queen, and Dan Man has fired off a 6 in response, and byarmis has just slapped down another queen to add insult injury. It looks like Dan Man is popping a 4 here. Try and waste some of those resources. Drop in the ace king. All right. Like both
No.
players are probably going to have to draw back up a little bit here.
Yeah, at this point, no one really has enough action on board to really take command because B Armis is safer behind that queen. Danman doesn't want to get too aggressive until that queen goes away.
And
You
the
can even
queen 6-2 counter.
it's an impenetrable force. There's no way around it. You can't stop the counter.
Not right now.
All right, so right
And
now, just
byarmis
continuously.
pulls the 2.
Yeah, constantly trying to get rid of this queen. And that should be all the twos at this point. So I don't think B Armors can do anything. Oh my goodness, he had the last two. So now officially,
No,
unless
he
was
pulled,
there?
he
Oh, there
pulled
was
the
a
2
three
back
playing.
with the 3.
Yeah, he pulled the 2 back with the 3.
And he pulls another 3 so he can do it again.
Oh my god, this
so
queen isn't going, but Damon's just going for it. B Armors does have the royals take it away.
Yep, and there's nothing that Dan Man can do about that particular grab.
Yeah, there's no clapback that I can think of. And right now, if we were to have a who has more advantage board, I would say byarmis right now is in advantage with both the tools to stop any of Dan Man's attacks, along with ways to increase his card quality. With that 3 right now, getting the 2, guaranteeing no way that an ace can get through, which will force Dan Man to need to use his 10s defensively if he wants a chance to not lose, should Ben decide to go on the offense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's looking a little dire early on here for Dan Man. There are some ways out, but byarmis is definitely in the commanding position here. We will see.
Yeah, byarmis's past draws haven't been that great. He doesn't have a lot of pressure that he can put on, but he does have a lot of defense, which I personally am a fan of when you're playing these games, because he can just kind of take this time to shape his hand for the end game. But with 2 10s already drawn, both of them, one of them being the 10 of spades and the 10 of hearts, giving Dan Man the 2 highest scuttling cards in the game, it will be difficult for byarmis to get that better hand in the end unless Dan Man makes a mistake.
That's true. And it looks like Dan Man was hoping that his 9 of diamonds was going to be able to scuttle that 9 of hearts, but unfortunately a bit of a play order issue potentially there. Playing the higher rank first.
Yeah, it's
and byarmis pulls 3's another 2. That's the third 2 he's 3'd in this game.
You know,
he's gotten so much value.
If you're Dan Man at this point, you know he's got the 2. You're sitting on this many points. I think you just have to start jamming out points, trying to make sure that that 2 doesn't get a lot of value. Now, unfortunately, there's no tells that byarmis is giving that he's not just sitting on the other 2 jacks, which could be why he's trying so hard.
Oh, here come the glasses though, and that
Dan Man wants
jig
to see what's
up.
going on.
The jig is up, but he does have him in check here. byarmis
is just going to go it. Dan Man knows that he needs to use his scuttling abilities now to get out of it, and this is going to be where byarmis's advantage comes in. If he can force this pressure enough, Dan Man's going to need to use those 10s to get rid of the points.
Yeah, unfortunately, playing the 6 for points, and Dan Man has the 7 in hand, so he'll be able to save one of his 10s for that 9 of spades.
That
Oh, the
oh,
4 could be devastating here.
if I'm Dan Man here, I get rid of the ace and jack. You know what your opponent's hand is. You know that you can't get any offense going on. You got to make sure you're ready for defense.
Yep, and it looks like he absolutely agrees. The jack was doing
And
no
it
good.
brings him the third 10.
Are you kidding me? What a draw. Top deck
And the
hero.
king.
Oh, man.
Oh,
But he still has to scuttle here.
he does, but he's got the offensive capabilities now where he's not wasting these 10s. He's just getting them out of the way. And he knows that byarmis is not even close to getting a 10 right now. So Dan Man can go on the offensive, force some unfortunate moves for byarmis, because if he plays the king, he knows that that ace is going to have to come down on a 7, which is not very strong. An unfortunate draw for Dan Man. That is a dead draw.
Yeah, unfortunate here. But we're going to see what he does. Probably should get rid of that king. The 10 is going to have a lot more value. Oh, another dead draw.
Runner, dead draws. Although you could argue that it's taking that draw away from byarmis.
Yes, that's true. And he pulls another king, so losing that king before isn't really hurting him quite so much.
Yeah, right now byarmis is in a precarious state where he could play that king to put the pressure on, but he's going to choose not to, and the pressure is going to go back on him.
byarmis.
So if you're byarmis at this point, I was going to say, do you use the 2?
I think he has to. He has a second one, so it's worthwhile, because if he needed to do something, and here comes the counterattack.
Unfortunately, okay,
gosh,
good.
I thought he was going to play that for points.
Yeah, that one could have been bad.
That could have been problematic for sure here.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Top deck hero with the 7 from byarmis. Playing the 8 for points, but giving his opponent the 2 draw. Opponent doesn't take it, can't take it, because of the potential chance. And byarmis ends up picking up the 2. byarmis has had
is looking in position to. Honestly, we're looking at a draw here, in my opinion. There's no way that either players can full out pull a win here. I think if
byarmis can 4 and absolutely make sure that Dan Man cannot win.
Oh my goodness, byarmis has it by 1 point. He has exactsies in hand. byarmis pulls out the 9. Dan Man has to scuttle, and then 8-2-2 ace is 14 points.
Oh my goodness! I hope that. So byarmis is checking to see what his opponent has here. So it's really in byarmis's hands how he plays this. Now here's the question: if byarmis plays a lower point card, will Dan Man, don't minimize your application on me, buddy. Don't do that. If he plays the 8, he could. I mean, he's still there.
If byarmis plays the 8,
yeah, he's still there with the 9.
He ends up having
one
victory with
point.
15 points, but 1 extra point, with 2 extra points actually.
So he could. It's up to byarmis what he wants to do. I think he's figured out what, and he knows he doesn't want to scuttle here.
Yeah,
his opponent cannot win with 1 card in hand.
No, it's about how can he get it. And this is one of those times when you whip out the calculator, you double check, is my arithmetic correct?
Because as it turns out, arithmetic is hard.
Arithmetic is extremely hard. Now at this point, there's nothing stopping byarmis from just ripping out the points and just putting them down one by one.
Yeah, there is nothing Dan Man can do. I'm not sure what byarmis is waiting for here.
Well, maybe he had to go do something. Oh, he's trying to figure out the best way to, let's say...
Show the points.
Yeah, it's not about winning at this point for byarmis. It's sending a message.
Yeah, I suppose that is true. Now, just a reminder, folks, we do have 4 rounds going on. We can only watch 1 at a time due to my brain not being a computer. But we are going to try and keep you updated on the other games as they unfold, or at least the other matches. There
Yep,
is
I'm
one player
checking
that
them
we
all
will.
out right now.
There is one player that will not be able to stream. So unfortunately, we will only have one side of those games if they get later into the tournament and there are fewer games to watch. And there is the W for byarmis. He goes up 1-0 in this series. Um, that was a pretty exciting game. That was very back and forth through the whole thing.
Yeah, that was very much the control player versus, to a certain extent, I guess the mid range player at that point, because in that middle of the game, Danman just had the points. He had more points. He had more that he could work with, but byarmis just had the solid defense of the queen, was stalwart on defending it, and now all of his one out offs were able to be effective. And he was
Yeah,
able to grind that out to the end using fours to get rid of resources and win with a 6 card combo. King and 5-point cards.
yeah, that is pretty ridiculous. If there are any, if we ever get in-game achievements for this, that should be up there. The legend. Oh, and the strong
Agreed.
opening from Danman. Immediate 8 glasses.
He wanted to know what was going on there.
Yeah, he knew how valuable that was to him last game, and it's looking like some interesting hands. byarmis has a lot of potential cycle top deck kind of power with the 3s and the 7s. Um, so we're gonna see what happens here,
Yeah.
because Danman has all the information at this point.
Yeah, so right now, I feel like if you're a byarmis, you've got to lay down that queen. You need to make sure that your stuff can't get taken away any more than it is right now. All right, looks like going for a 7 to find something. Finds a 3 and a jack, both of which are fairly dead draws.
Yeah, at this point, it's not. Neither of them is doing him any good, and he could pull the 7 he just played with that 3, which technically gives him 4 more points and the chance to scuttle the 7 of clubs. He did play the clubs first, so that is the weakest scuttle suit. So
yes, he did
he
take
has
that 7 back.
2 more options with his 7 of diamonds and 7 of spades to scuttle that if he so chooses without really losing too much value.
Yeah, now Damon was in a very unfortunate situation there where he wanted to get cards, but he didn't want to draw the jack because he knows that byarmis has the answer to the jack, and byarmis knew that Damon was drawing the jack. So it's very likely that byarmis is just going to save that queen, but he doesn't. He gives that 9 up to allow Damon to jack it. I'm going to call it right here. That was a blunder.
Yeah,
there was
that was
little
absolutely
reason.
a mistake. And it's a higher 9 than he has, so he has to use the 10 of spades to scuttle.
Yeah, and there's absolutely no reason.
That 9.
Yeah, and there's absolutely no reason why Danman doesn't just draw, have the points keep going, because we know that there's a queen on top, which Ben can't use and Dan can't use, so it's a bad draw for both of them. And there was a queen underneath it. Danman ended up drawing, and now we're just getting the classic draw up to 8.
Yeah, it's looking like a bit of a tough situation for byarmis. A few pretty substantial mistakes there. Really not giving him the power that he needed there. He really couldn't afford to do that. These are the best cuttle players in the world right now, and you can't be making a big play error like that, even in these early rounds.
You can't. And with Dan, and going up to making the decision to go up to 8 cards, well, Danman 1 had a queen and 9 on board, so he had tempo on board, and he has the 8 on board to provide perfect information. I think that was just a misplay by byarmis right there to draw up, because Danman gets to see everything that's happening and gets to dictate this game, and that's exactly what we're seeing play out right here. Danman is not getting any crazy advantages, some blowout game, just incremental, piece by piece. If this were chess, he's just slowly having those pawns tick away at byarmis's board.
Yeah, it's a death by 1,000 cards here, as it seems.
For sure, and at this point, yeah. That's the GGs. Well played by Dan, man. Kind of
Yeah.
wielded that one with a butterfly knife.
Yep, definitely went at it with the death by 1,000 cuts, and eventually just wore his opponent out of resources there. The 8 glasses coming in huge for him, being able to
Yeah.
play that on turn 1 uncontested, and then had the uncontested queen to go alongside it. That really locked it down.
Now, jumping into game 3, I think that byarmis is at a huge advantage. And Dan, man, after seeing the power of that 8 in all 3 games, is like, I want this down early. I want to see what's happening.
Yep. Dan Man seems to play a much more control-y kind of style. I personally like 8 points, but that's just me. I like to play a lot more aggressively.
It sounds like you would love byarmis' hand right now, sitting on 3 10s, 9 of hearts, 7 of diamonds, and the 6 of diamonds. That is a combined total of 52 points in hand.
Ooh, yeah, and
when you only need 21.
He plays out the 10 of clubs first to bait out a potential higher 10.
Oh, and byarmis tries to go for it, and Dan Man's just got the ace to whip out those 10s.
Yeah, that's true. And unfortunately, of course, byarmis doesn't know this, but we have perfect vision, and we can see that Dan Man does in fact have a jack, and unfortunately his 8 and queen were cleared there by the 6, but it would have been devastating had byarmis tried to push the issue again.
Yeah, now these hands are currently rapidly changing with the draws and the 3 coming from byarmis. But one thing I want to note is that there are 3 jacks in play with no queens possible right now, or 3 jacks in hand with no queens possible in hand. We're going to get some really interesting scuttling and point matches going on here because of the jack situation. Because while Dan Man doesn't have a lot of strong points himself, byarmis does not have any way to stop these jacks and therefore cannot easily go on the aggressive.
Oh, byarmis believing in the heart of the cards. A 4 wouldn't be devastating, but it would be annoying.
No, but getting rid of that 6 might be good. Although, from what byarmis sees, he doesn't know that he's facing 2 jacks.
That's true.
If you're Dan Man right here and that 6 does not get played, you are a little concerned because you have to play cards, and byarmis will likely then draw a card and take that 6 away. Now let's see what happens. byarmis not being able to keep that 4 on the board from the 4 diamond because of those suits. Always an important thing to track when you're playing Cuttle is play the best suit at the time, whether that's the lowest suit or the highest suit, to best give you advantage. byarmis with not any other option right here, but able to stick this 4 because it's a heart instead of a diamond.
Yeah, that is coming pretty handy for byarmis here a couple of times. Of course, a lot of these players in this tournament are relatively new to the game comparatively, as some of these players have been playing Cuttle for quite literally years, and some of these players have come in just in the last 6 months or so. So that can be one of those things that you just kind of can slip your mind when you're playing fast.
Fast Unga Bunga Cuttle?
Yep, for sure.
Gotta love that Unga Bunga Cuttle. For those who are listening and you are interested and want to be able to join for these championships, please join us at our Discord. Please join us on our Cuttle Wednesday nights Eastern Standard Time, or Cuttle Thursday noons Eastern Standard Time, to join in or just play on your own. We've got a bot set up. We've got a lot of people who are actively looking for games. Just come on in, find a game, and you'll be able to see yourself up here. Now, we've had a lot of action happen with the jack trades that I was predicting coming off. Now, we've got the 9 being used to try and bounce the jack to win it, and a 2 countering it, allowing Dan Man to take this game away from byarmis.
Wow.
That's set 3. That's game, set, match.
All right.
Dan Man gets to move on.
Dan Man gets to move on into the winner's bracket round 2, and it looks like we've had some other exciting outcomes here. We have had HF Romeo 2 falling to DP, and we have had that was a 2-0, and then we had PF Cuttle taking a 2-0 over Mixian, and then Dylan Fryer taking the 2-0 versus Urgosa. So we are going to get another set of games going here. We have the round 2 winners bracket, and then we will go into round 1 of the losers bracket while we wait for the round 3 winners bracket opponents. So let's take a look at what we got here while they get their games set up.
And while that happens, for those who do not know, us at Cuddle Hero have set up a Patreon for anyone who wants to help keep with the upkeep of the game. That can be found in the link in the chat right now.
I can post it.
Please, anything that you can give is fantastic. Right now, our
Oh, damn it.
right now, our the creator of the game, Olive One, is the sole proprietor and helping to keep this game up and running. So any contributions are sent towards keeping those servers up and running. Along with that, if you would like to keep up with the brackets as they're going on, you can see that challenge link in the chat as well. And if you're interested in pulling up either of these because you want to figure out the Patreon link, but it's been pushed down by the chat, you can put an exclamation point Patreon and the link should pop up.
Yep, hang on. I'm fixing it.
And while Toph works on fixing that one,
there we go. That should work now.
All right, fantastic. Let's see if we can find another game to bring to you, fine folks.
It helps if you spell it correctly, there, bud.
It does help if I spell it correctly. Let's try that again. This time with
there
feeling.
We go.
There we go.
Got it. Professionals. All right, let me pop back to the challenge. So let's take a look at maybe LF and DP. I keep forgetting that.
While you get it going, I'll start shoutcasting what's going on right now. DP is sitting on 6 cards in hand with the queen on board. Aleph is sitting on 6 cards in hand with the king on board. Traditionally, that means that Aleph is in the commanding seat of what's happening in this game. He's dictating the tempo because he's threatening less cards needed to win. And DP Brian with just the queen is sitting on defense. Now, at this point, a 6 has been reached out by DP, so that has been a straight reset. Both players are just working on 6 cards. DP's got in total 33 points in hand with a queen. Olive's going on the offense with an 8 of hearts. Now, given his hand of ace 2, 3, 6, 7, that 8 of hearts is very likely just going to be a threat to try and get DP to waste some resources to allow Olive to then gain some resources. DP is seeing that as just a false threat and will take that opportunity to draw a card. DP is sitting on queen and jack, allowing him some fun play with the points going on.
Go. Now I can finally see it. I'm sorry. I've been having some issues with Discord streaming today, so sometimes it can take a little finagling to get the screen up.
Totally fine.
Yes, thank you, Diabetes Man. I am working on doing those things. But we're doing our best here. Discord has been screwing with me all day, so
yep.
Sorry about that. So it looks like we have a king on board for Aleph. We have a queen and a jack 8 on board for DP. We see Aleph here playing the 7. Let's catch up a little bit.
Yep, again, that suit mattering. DP's not able to use his 7 of clubs to scuttle that 7 of diamonds, forced to use that 8 of clubs, which is technically a slight, a bigger increase in value. Right now, Olive is not in a position to keep up the offense. He was trying to keep up this facade. He rips up a 10 of hearts, which is a fantastic use with the king, allowing for 4s and higher to also be seen as more of a threat. DP is taking this time to reload himself, not currently well set up to handle this 10 of hearts. The question is whether he goes for the 2 or the ace. If I'm here, if I'm him, I actually go for the ace with the 2 backup. Because DP's got the queen out. You just go for the 2 to kill the king, in my opinion. He's going to go for the ace and take out all points on the board. We're back to where we were about 10 turns ago with king, queen, 6 cards in hand. Shows how cyclical these games can be.
Yeah, it certainly does. I I mean, at this point, both players have a 2, both players have a 3. They have a way to reload a little bit. Honestly, the jack play there is pretty solid, but if I'm DP, I am looking at that 4. Aleph was down at 4 cards, and playing a 4 when you're that low in hand can be absolutely devastating. If
Yep.
not
Now
for your
DP here
actual
threatening
economy.
lethal.
Oh, he's threatening.
He's
And
got
does,
the 2.
and Aleph
There's no
can't,
way
yeah,
Aleph can get out of
Aleph
this. This
cannot,
ace is gonna get countered.
and there's nothing he can do, and that's that for that game. Sorry for
That's the
coming in a
win.
little late to that one, but Discord decided, nope, you're gonna get spinning squares. The classic. But here we are. So we're gonna go into a game 2 here with Aleph and DP being up 1-0. That's what we've got here. See people peeking at the bracket. See you there, DP. But we are getting into round number 2. Some pretty mixed hands. Both players have queens, 9s. Some solid. Some early 3s are a little weak. And the early 4 is not super impactful either. Aleph going for the 8 for points and then the queen to cover, while DP is going for the early draw play. So we will see what DP decides to react with that. Another draw. He's not terribly threatened. Aleph decides to draw as well. Let's see.
So one thing that Aleph and I have actually talked a bit about with how the cuddle meta in the game changes is it used to be this idea of draw to 8 and who's got the better cards and who can play their cards better. But one thing that Aleph has been doing a bit more, and this is slightly inspired by G-Man a little bit, is getting out those cards earlier on the board when there's less resources to contest them, so that as you start to reload, you still have that little bit of advantage. Now, DP here putting out the queen to make sure that those 2 aces can go off without a hitch if Aleph 1 decides to press on the gas. And I think that caused both of them to just focus on reloading their hand, increasing that value, and Aleph trying to get rid of that queen with that double jack in hand.
Yeah, that queen coming down with a double jack is just a heartbreaker right now. So he 3s back the 6 to cover himself. So now I think he should play the 6 first.
I think it depends on what comes out. There's nothing wrong
the
with
queen
just
pull. That's unfortunate. So they're both pulling back the cards that they had before. So even if Aleph is able to pull out the 6 on the queen again, which he might get stuffed on doing because DP does have a 2 here. So that is a potential stop, and there's nothing Aleph can do.
All good possibilities. Now, this ace understandably coming out to stop that check becoming a checkmate. Aleph reloading again back to 8, and we're still in this stalemate where DP has that slight advantage with that queen. It looks like Aleph is still trying to figure out how to get around that because he knows if he just 6s, DP's going to say, okay, sounds good. I'm going to play another queen. And those jacks again are going to get neutralized.
Yep, that is absolutely correct. Also, hey, thank you, Ishmael III, for the follow. Appreciate it.
Look at that.
Yay.
We need to have
all right. Well,
we need to have like a bubbling effect if someone follows, like a cuttlefish tentacles.
Yeah, right now we have a little T-Rex jumping up in the down in the corner. So
nice.
It's not a cuttlefish, but it's adorable anyway. So we see that Aleph did finally have to pull the trigger on the 6 play, and then 7s into a 2-6, and DP surprisingly lets that go off.
I think DP's just going to 3 for a queen. He's going to say, fine, this queen's not going anywhere. I'm going to get it back. Aleph is going to take this one blip in DP's defense to take that 10 while he can. And now DP's in a bad situation where he can play the queen to protect himself from future jacks, or he can play the jack and steal it back. He decides to just draw the cards up, pulls a 6, which is fantastic.
Draws the 6 that was revealed by Aleph 7 when he got the 2-6. So he knew what he was going to get there. So that's potentially quite a bit of power. But Aleph with Jack, Queen, King of Hearts. Nice suited set there.
Yeah, suited runs are, if this were cribbage, that'd be kind of nice there.
Yeah, I mean, but unfortunately for that, it's cuddle, which is, they're still good. It just, the suit doesn't matter. But it does look like we're just kind of waiting. Maybe Aleph is
Yeah,
dealing with
Olive's
a
trying to figure
problem.
out how to play this at this point because if you go too hard on the points, you risk getting hit by an ace, which really is not what Olive is looking to do at this situation. If you play out the king, you're just forcing again DP to play that six that Olive knows he has. If you play the queen, again, you're just getting hit by a six. So Olive is trying to find a way to maneuver the slight advantage a bit harder. DP looks like he's looking to go out into the aggressive field as well and kind of threaten and allow for this jack play to possibly occur. Now, Olive is threatening check right here with 7, 9, and 10 in his hand.
Well,
If
and
I'm DP
he's
here,
threatening the king play with the 14.
that's true as well. He's threatening a lot of things. Now, DP, if I'm DP here, yeah, I rip this 6 off. I get my 10 back to threaten check, as well as allowing him a bit more breathing room to play his own uh, suits.
Yeah, Aleph is looking through the play history here to see what he can try and glean from the past plays here. But unfortunately, it looks like DP is ready to just jack back his jacked 10. And Aleph not having time to get that queen out is biting him badly here.
Same with DP, honestly. There was so much fighting over this queen that the moment there was a brief moment of no queen, they just started becoming less of a factor in this situation. This queen's coming out now, but it's not really doing much. Olive's going to be able to take this time to be aggressive and make this 4 threatening. And DP's got a scuttle with a 9.
No, he can play the ace for points here, but he ends up hurting himself more if he does that.
He
But it
plays
is
ace
an
for
option.
points, he loses.
Hmm?
If he plays the ace for points, he loses. You mean scuttle? Oh, sorry, you mean play the ace as a one-off?
Not for points, yeah. Sorry. For one.
Got it. Yeah, he could do that, and that is a very unfortunate situation here. And he sees killing his own 10 as better than using his 9 to scuttle. That is going to kill him because his 10 is going to come out. He's going to have to use his 2 to
he
get
can
the.
do now.
Well, he's going to have to use
He's
the
gonna
2
have
to
to use
kill
the
the king.
2 to get rid of the king. That's his only option. It's either that or effectively forfeit.
Yeah, now this is a moment where if Olive had pulled out that queen out, that would have protected this king and he would have won, but it's still a bad situation for DP right here with no good solution to the 10. Olive's going to be able to draw. He just needs to draw a 4 or higher, and he gets the ace. Great defense, but that's not what he needs right now.
Yes, and DP draws a potentially devastating card. I think the 4 honestly should be played for its one-off at this point. Aleph would have to get rid of 2/3 of his hand here, which
it's
absolutely
either the
would be
full hand
devastating.
or half the hand, because either Olive's going to play a card.
Go back, DP. Come on, bud. We told you we could see your tabs. Looks like he's clearing up some RAM there to try and keep it going. But we're looking at a pretty slow play right now. We're just taking our time.
Yeah, well, it's a hard situation to be in right now because you're Olive. You have this huge commanding advantage with the aggro, and you end up drawing ace 3, 2 defensive and value cards that do not help you much with your points. The question is whether he puts down this queen to try and be defensive about the 4th jack or not. And honestly, if I'm him, I say you put down the queen. You say that you're both reloading, but he is worried about a potential 4, and he ends up drawing, gets him the king and 4 protection, which works out well.
Yep, certainly. The only way to really protect yourself from 4s is to have more cards.
At this point, he puts out the king. I don't see a good solution for DP in this situation outside of 9ing the 10 to stall a turn and hoping that Olive plays the 2nd point card to then be able to scuttle that point card with the 8, but that still would put DP at king 4 in hand. Olive won with king 10 on the board with a potential win in hand. And it looks like that's exactly the play that's going to happen here.
Yes, it certainly looks like. What is he gonna 9 here? He's debating.
The king is a fine option, but that's not going to really stop the situation. DP's realizing that he's right now stuck between a rock and a hard place.
For sure. He is definitely in the straits right now. Aleph has played a really strong value game so far.
All right,
And
DP goes for the king here, which
yep.
I don't think will do too much because Aleph is still going to be able to keep that 10 on board. And
And
Aleph is going to
Aleph
play
is going to take the opportunity to play his queen finally. And just
make sure that he doesn't get jacked.
yep. And that is going
Nope, because DP picked up the
no.
9 again, so
And Aleph goes for the 3 play to protect himself with a 2. Solid defensive play. He knows he doesn't need to rush here.
He's not really protecting himself here because there's a queen on the board. I think he just wasted that 3.
I think having a 2 in hand is just a threat in and of itself. So here we go.
Not when you have a queen.
Right. And even though DP draws the 9, it has to go towards the queen. Aleph pulls back the card anyway with the 3 and is able to thwart the 4. I think the 4 would have gotten a lot more value a little earlier on.
I agree with you. I think that 4 needed to come out a bit more, put the pressure on, and here we are going into game 3. I do think Aleph did make that misplay there with the 3 to give DP a chance, but DP's draw was not good. Holy suits, we've got 3 jacks, 2 kings, and a queen in the first opening hands. This is going to be a wild ride. Aleph is going hard for this king 10 win, and there is currently a lot that DB can do to stop it. 4 kings, howdy. 2 queens, 3 jacks in the
4 jacks. Are you
2
kidding
queens,
me?
4 kings.
What is this draw? What kind of randomizer?
Cards.
What kind of shuffling algorithm did you build, Aleph? Dear Lord. What is
DP digging for action with a 7, which makes sense. He has an extremely reactive hand. He doesn't want to put anything down that's too aggressive. However, I do think there was something to be said about putting down the queen to allow your 2s to stop whatever's coming in. If I'm Aleph right here, I would say I have to nail down something.
Yeah, he's in an interesting position.
All right, here we go. Time for the jacks.
DP's playing the king here.
Time for the jacks to all roll out.
This is gonna be a fun situation. God, this is going to be a mess.
Jacked. And here we go, 4 jacks gone just like that. I'm sure both players are having a hearty laugh to themselves to see this
and
situation.
Then here comes the scuttle, and goodbye.
All right, so now we're in a game with 34 cards left in the deck, no jacks.
Yep, absolutely 0 jacks, which does, in fact, limit the power of queens somewhat. There's still a powerful defensive tool for protecting your one-off effects, but man alive, is that not going to be enough?
And Aleph is about to get disheartened by this 6, taking out all the kings. He's still up a king in this situation, and overall is in a better situation because of DP holding not only the queens, but also the 2s. So the queens, which are to protect you from jacks and 2s, are not as effective for DP because we know that 4 queens are gone. DP knows that 2 2s are in his hand. So these queens are really only protecting him from 2 other 2s, which is really unfortunate. The value in these queens have gone down so much, and DP needs to play accordingly because of that. He needs to make it so that he can get advantage some other way.
Yeah, so DP's going to pop out the queen here just to put a little bit of pressure on the board. But DP's draws have just been unfortunate. He's really not pulling anything of great value here. He's pulled a 3. He had the 6 and the 2 2s. So he's just really not able to get anything going here.
Yeah, he's had very lackluster point draws versus Aleph, who was sitting on 2 7s, 9, and 10, all solid point cards, with the 10 of hearts being the second strongest point card in the game. Right now, DP's trying to figure out whether he takes back a king or a jack. He goes for the king, trying to say to Aleph that I can stop whatever offense you put up, and then I can beat you back. Now, Aleph knew that this 6 was there. This 6 was from a 3.
Yeah, and I think Aleph may have wanted to just pull that out. We'll see. I think, yep, playing the 5 for the 1-off. Right, Aleph. Yeah. You play that 2 draw. So it looks like Aleph was able to pick up the queen here.
Yeah,
and then another 5.
Is much stronger for Aleph than it is for DP.
Absolutely the case. especially since DP just picked up the third 2.
So there's literally only one card in this entire deck currently. Now, you can 3-back some jacks and 2s, which Olive has that ability, but there's only one card. There's 0 cards in the deck that DP is protected from by this queen. This queen is a dead draw right now unless Olive draws a jack, gets a jack, or one of the 2s after they're played back into his hand. An unfortunate situation and a fun situation for us as shoutcasters to see, and for you viewers there.
This is a pretty ridiculous setup here, and we'll see if DP kind of has to scuttle here.
No, he can just do the queen. He's got it.
Oh, right. It's a queen, not a king. That's what I get for reading.
You hear that, kids? Don't read.
Yep, reading is bullshit.
Stick to Unga Bunga or cuddle.
Yep, just play points. If you play more points, you win more games. That's how, if you have more points than your opponent, you win.
If you have 21 points, you win.
Math.
Details.
Math is hard. Let's see what
Olive in this situation, sitting on a bunch of points, but having no clue what DP might be dealing with. And the way that DP's been playing, he's been playing as if he has an answer to a strong offense. So Olive is going to use this 3 to try and sculpt his hand a bit more. Looks like he's looking at a jack to allow him some defense in case DP goes for the offense. But he doesn't know that DP's got nothing.
DP's sitting on an 8. That is his... Oh, there's something, though. A 10 of spades. That is a very strong offensive and defensive card. So we will see what comes of that. Aleph playing up to 11 points, which puts him in that range for the 3-card win.
Yep. DP smartly using his resources, allow the 8 to scuttle, keep that ace for higher point cards like 9s or 10s. Oh no!
No! Devastation.
Olive doesn't know this, but he just got a huge advantage with DP no longer having an ace to deal with the 9, the 10, and the 8 of spades in Olive's hand.
And here comes the 6, which will be countered by one of DP's plethora of 2s.
Now DP's threatening lethal here with the 10 of spades. Olive with no way to answer this whatsoever. That unscuttleable 10 of spades behind queen is another powerhouse. Again, showing the power of having a strong, well-placed queen.
Yep, and Aleph showing that he cannot scuttle that 10, and there is the counter, and here is the coup de grace.
Coup d'etat. No, you were right. Sorry, coup de grace. You were right. I apologize.
We're not overthrowing Aleph. We're cutting his head off.
Yeah, and that's the
so that will be that for this round, and that concludes. Actually, surprisingly, we're on time with all of our matches. To catch up with the other rounds, we had launceleyn playing Danman in round 2. Launceleyn took that 2-0. G-Man taking on PF Cuttle. G-Man took that 2-0, and then SUBMARINO playing Dylan Fryer, and SUBMARINO took that 2-1, which means that the higher seed has won every match except for this one, where the number 9 seed took out the number 1.
Yep, I'm going to go check in with the players right now, find out when they want to start round 3.
All right, I will look what our next match will be, because we will have to go through we actually will not have to go through losers round 1 wait for opponents, but we will start to have to wait for we will be able to go through losers round 1 and losers round 2 before we will have to wait for an opponent, and by that point winners round 3 will certainly be done. So we are just waiting to verify with Solmen what the plan is. If all of them are going to go at the same time, then we will do our best to keep you up to date with everything.
So G-Man and SUBMARINO have already started their match. They're deep into it. So I say we watch DP versus launceleyn so that we can get a full set for our viewers.
DP versus launceleyn. That is...
And while he says it, and as Toph had already said, launceleyn had gotten through taking out getting a bye to get into round 2 already, and then taking out Danman 2-0, and DP, as we just saw, took out Aleph 2-1, and before that took out HF Romeo 2-0. So we've got 2 strong members right here, 4 seed versus 9 seed. And let's see how we go.
All right, I just posted the bracket back in if you want to keep track of who is where in the tournament, and we are getting right into it. Hey, go away. Stop that window. Coming right into it with DP versus launceleyn. Here we see Launce with the queen. I have to... I've switched sides, so DP is now on the opposite side of the screen from where he was last round.
So what we have here is launceleyn with the queen and DP with 2 jacks, 2 sevens, and an ace. There's not much going on here in terms of action. This is a reload situation. Both players kind of know it from their hands, but they're trying to also figure out what they can do to get an advantage against their opponent. Looks like DP's looking to get some action, which in my opinion is not the best situation here, because even though he's going to get this 9 on the board, he's still going to go down that 7 in hand and not really be able to do anything since he's holding 2 dead cards with these jacks, and this ace is now a little bit less strong since he has more points on the board.
Yeah, absolutely. This queen is absolutely devastating right now for DP with the 2 jacks in hand. The king in hand is interesting. Launce playing the 5, draws double 2s behind a queen. Are you kidding me? This is such a huge draw.
Yeah, this is not going to be a fun time for DP if he decides to go on the offense. DP needs to do some sculpting of his hand, needs to put out some slight offensive pressure to cause launceleyn to need to be reactive and use some resources while not putting on pressure so that DP can get some hands to handle this queen, to be honest.
And launceleyn, in my experience, is a very measured player. Does not use a lot of resources unnecessarily. Also, thank you, DJ Psycho Alex, for the follow. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Woohoo, new followers.
Keep it up.
Welcome to the Cuddle World Championships, the second ever. And we are well into round 3 of the winner's bracket. We've got a lot of Cuddle left to play as well.
And for those that are watching, for those who just followed us, I've posted the Discord in the chat. Please join us there. It's a lot of fun. We try to make sure we have fun Wednesday nights Eastern Standard Time with weekly Cuddle, along with Thursdays noontime Eastern Standard Time for Cuddle. It's a lot of fun.
Yep. So it looks like launceleyn is building up a pretty impenetrable wall. He's got the king queen. He's got the 6 to threaten with anything higher than an 8. He's got to check.
Yeah, and he's got the 2s to back up the queens that nothing can really happen here outside of some hopes and prayers from DP.
And there it is. Nice and easy for launceleyn. What a draw with the double 2s behind the early queen play. That, I think, in and of itself shows the potential power of the 5, because those 2 cards could have gone to one of those could have gone to his opponent, and maybe it wouldn't have mattered.
Very possible. I think it also shows the versatility of the queen's defense, not just in the jacks, but also the 2s, and how powerful those queens can be. And playing, if you know you have the queen advantage, playing around that can really give you some chances to win.
Absolutely the case. Absolutely. Here we see Launce again with a huge advantage with the queen, and DP with the double jack opening hand again.
But DP's got to answer with 2 6s in hand, so that queen's not going to be staying there for too long.
And a 2. And Launce, he doesn't know this, of course, but Launce does not have another way to deal with a counter. If DP decides to 2 something, Launce can't do anything about it, just like that.
Yeah, he had that queen gets to stick.
And there's the 10 of clubs coming out to threaten. And there is the clear, but the 10 points on board is still a pretty powerful, threatening presence.
With and there is having no way to interact.
And there's the ace. Launce with the double ace in hand, able to counteract the aggression, just waiting for the perfect moment. You could see him thinking about it with just the 10 on board. but
Now,
he
I know
decided
we
to.
have perfect information, but DP not deciding to go aggressive until after Launcelyn's drawn 2 more cards just sounds like a mistake. He had nothing to back up those points, and Launcelyn had 2 more chances of drawing an ace. I think that was just an easy way to throw away points and did turn that advantage over to Launcelyn in terms of tempo, now threatening this King 4.
Oh, absolutely.
Now, keep in mind, Launcelyn was bluffing that. He does not have the 10, but now Launcelyn has to play this 4, or he gives away that he doesn't have the 10, and he does play that 4. I will say, if anyone's looking to play poker, Launcelyn might not be your best opponent because he is aware of the information he's been giving and what he needs to do to keep that information seen as false. So now he's forced a 9 and an 8 to be used to scuttle 4s.
Oh, that feels terrible for DP. Of course, we can see both hands, but that just feels rough. He is holding on to that 6 for dear life, DP, just in case another queen comes down. But Launcelyn, if Launcelyn was to play another queen, though, he has the 2 to cover.
Yeah, that's true. Right here, DP's just trying to figure out how to work around all this.
Might be playing the 2 here to counter that ace. He does.
He is.
Let's see what happens.
He doesn't have a way to really work with that, so that 2's not doing anything. 4 jacks again. This is a interesting situation for
it's
DP
a huge hand for when Launce does not have a queen on board, which he has had pretty much the whole time in this set.
That's true. And DP will be able to take out that queen should it ever come down.
Absolutely.
I would give the advantage bar right here over to DP, Brian, here. I think having 4 jacks with the backup way to get rid of the queen is just going to make it so that in the long game, he will win.
Yep. Looks like 9 scuttles 9 there. Drawing back up. Launcelyn has a huge points advantage, but has no way of knowing that there are 4 jacks lying in wait. He's been
playing around it, though.
He's been playing very conservatively, and this 7 is going to bite DP Brian here. Revealing the queen. If he doesn't take the queen, then he knows Launce is going to take it.
Yep, and now DP Brian is able to keep the 6.
Launcelyn's at max hand. He couldn't have drawn it.
He couldn't have. But playing this queen is going to make sure that the only way that Launcelyn can deal with these queens is with a 6. Now, when you're sitting on 4 jacks in this hand, I think at this point you need to jack this 5. It's okay that it's for a low quality target, but it's still something because Launcelyn's going to either have to scuttle or do some other sort of action. He finds a king here,
that's huge.
And that is this killer. You're going to have to 6 of your DP, Brian. You have to give the 5 back.
And it cannot be countered.
You got to make sure that Launcelyn does not have that 10. Now, if I'm Launcelyn, I keep playing conservatively.
Yeah, I absolutely agree here. Launcelyn needs to have some answers here. And
you
the
need
10s
to 3 back that queen. You need, you've been playing around these jacks. You need to keep playing around these jacks.
Oh, this could hurt.
This could hurt him real bad. DP Brian should steal this 8 away based off the way that Launcelyn's been playing, knowing that he's got 2 more jacks to back it up, force Launcelyn to slow down.
And I think Launcelyn should have known that there were multiple jacks when the 5 got jacked. That would have been a big red flag.
Yeah.
And now if he plays almost any points card, Launcelyn will lose. Launcelyn, oh, buddy.
Launcelyn still has the 2 to handle the jacks because those queens are now gone. So he's not going to lose, but he's definitely in a worse situation at this point.
If he had just played the points card, then he would have lost. But here is the chance. Here's the angry foreplay. So if he counters it, okay, I think DP Brian is okay with this.
Yeah, I think DP Brian's in a great situation right here. He's got the
and he one-offs again and gets the double 3s out. Oh, and Launce trusts the third 3. Are you kidding me? What a lucky pull right there. Launce is going to have to use that 10 of spades to scuttle yet again.
This has been a slog.
Yeah, this is an absolute slugfest here. And man alive, is this some interesting play. Some minor mistakes here and there, some potential information getting between players based on how they're playing. But
Yep,
we're
and now
down.
is the
We are
reload.
down to nothing, and I think
That's a draw.
yeah, it's a draw. There is no way unless launceleyn makes a massive blunder.
Yep. Perfect play gets draw right here. This is one of those situations where you need to not figure out what is my play to potentially win, but what is my play to get my opponent to make a mistake. At this point, we've got perfect knowledge of what's in what hand. I'd really be shocked if this goes anywhere but a draw.
Yeah, there's both of these are good enough players to they're both trolling through the scrap pile to just double check, triple check, make sure they're not missing any kind of surprises. Let's see
Indeed, this
here.
this is this. So right now, the things to think about is that the queen is powerful to stop the jacks, but what that will end up doing is it will end up getting the two response from launceleyn. If DP gets the queen, if launceleyn gets the queen and play it, then DP is just going to be able to ace the points away.
Well, and DP can't even get the queen. He doesn't have a way
Oh,
to do
sorry,
so.
I apologize. DP's not able to get the queen. So
launceleyn
right
is the
now,
only one who can pull the queen, which could help him, but it's not. I'm not sure it's worth it for one to counter one card.
well, the problem, it's not going to just counter one. Countering the jack is a big deal here, but the problem is that launceleyn has no way to win without DP playing his 9 for points.
Well, and the only way that DP can win is if his king stays on the board.
Yes.
Unless
so right now,
yes,
launceleyn having
no,
this
there's
2.
no other way.
Nope, there's no way.
Well, he could jack the 5. And if he had the 5-7-9, that would be enough. But that's the only way.
And that's the draw. There's no way either player can win at this point.
Yes, unless someone passes unnecessarily and gives up the game, this is in fact going to be a draw. And since this is going to be a draw, I am going to cover quickly the losers round 1 results that we have coming in.
Yes, bring them to us.
Yeah. Oh, and the other winners round 3 has also just finished up. So we have Dylan Fryer losing out to HF Romeo 2-0. We have PF Cuttle knocking out byarmis 2-1. And we have Alf1 knocking out Ergosa 2-0. So that means that our losers round 2 first match is going to be HF Romeo versus PF Cuttle. But in the winners bracket round 3, G-Man took down SUBMARINO 2-0. G-Man is a perennial winner of tournaments alongside Alf1, although Alf is going to need to make a heroic charge from the losers bracket here to get us back into that kind of a final. So we will see if Danman or Mixian is going to be Alf1's losers round 2 opponent here. And we'll probably be watching the winner of this match play up against G-Man following this. Let's see. So far, knocked out of the tournament, we have the 11 seed, the 5 seed, and the 6 seed. Oh, okay. Well, we will fix that. Give me 1 second. We seem to have lost Solmen real quick because this is scuffed as all get out. I am using so many different things to get this to work. Give me 2 seconds while they are getting into another game. Okay. Hopefully we will get Solmen back in here in a moment. And we are into the next game, so I will just start. Yep, there we go. There we are. Sorry about that. Apparently, there's a 1 hour limit on these calls now, so we will probably have to do another one in a minute, in a bit here. So we are watching DP versus Launceleyn Game 2 again, because that did end up as a stalemate. So here we are.
All right. So DP Brian looking at a much better hand right here with double king, double 10, 9, 8, 3, triple 10. The only inefficient card in his hand right now is this 3, which should get thrown away with the 8 right here. This is just a point onslaught.
8, 9.
Luckily for the Launceleyn, he's got double ace
triple
2.
King.
If you're DP Brian right here, I think you just got to start running out those kings. It's a little late now. He's on the back foot on tempo, so he now needs to play defensively, because if Launceleyn just runs out points, that's game over. Now, Launceleyn's going to respond to the king, and DP's going to pull out another one. Launceleyn should keep going forward with the points. He's not going to, because he's going to try and set a trap with the jack to steal those points away.
Yeah, and I think that DP is thinking somewhere along the same, he's playing the low points card, seeing if he can get a rise out of it, and there it is.
Well, he's going to get that jack, but that's still check for Launceleyn.
Yes, but he can scuttle the 9 with the 10, which isn't that bad value. And then
no, but if Launceleyn keeps this aggression going, then DP's going to end up using his 10s to scuttle things.
I'm not sure about using the spade there.
Yeah, he should have been using the heart, and boom, all of those 10s are taken away based off of a good offense reaction from Launceleyn when DP took one turn to just stutter step, and that was all it took for Launceleyn to put enough pressure to get rid of that massively advantageous hand. DP needed either.
And DP pulls the 4th 10. Wow.
Incredible.
And another jack. That's pretty powerful.
There is very little that Launceleyn will be able
doesn't
to do,
know it, but he really should have played that jack that turn.
Yeah,
Launceleyn's gonna play this queen and absolutely shut that avenue down to him. Just a big old roadblock in his way, as queens often are. This is why queens are my least favorite card, because I like playing aggressive, and they don't let me.
They do say no. They do say no.
Boy, howdy, they just got a big old sign. Just smack you in the face with it. Absolutely not. No, not for you. You don't get to play aggressive.
Now DP here looking to pull off the double king 10. He's a little concerned about that queen backup, because that means that Launceleyn can get a 2 or 6 off to just get rid of the kings. DP's taking this brief moment to think about his options. Now, the way that DP's been playing, he's been playing it really slow.
I think DP needs to... It's an okay play. I think I would have played the 6 for points there and forced Launceleyn to respond.
It's very possible. Now, Launceleyn picking up that last king is going to be able to use it to offensively and put some pressure back on DP. DP, I think, is looking to 3-back a 6 or some other answer to the king, not knowing that Launceleyn does have a 2 to stop whatever might be coming.
Yeah. Here we go. So
pull back that 6.
Pull back the 6. That's good value from the 3 right there.
Launceleyn's going to put out this queen knowing he's got the 2 back up. And if I'm DP, I say I got to draw here, because I know that this 6 isn't going to do anything. Or play the king. DP, another misstep here. It's a clear 2-tell from Launceleyn. Now, Launceleyn's going to be able to put his foot on the gas. There's going to be very little that DP can do without losing advantage. He's not going to lose the game right here, because he's going to be able to use this 2 to get rid of the queen, to open up his jack. But Launceleyn, now his aces are alive again to take some advantage here.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a pretty unfortunate misstep here. But DP does have a pretty weak check here with the 5-7. Easy ace clear from Launceleyn.
And now we're back in reload mode with Launceleyn having tempo advantage with that king on the board.
Absolutely correct. DP does pull 6-2 on his draws, though. Those are potentially pretty valuable resources here. We're already down to 11 cards left in the deck, which is pretty wild. There's been a lot of drawing and a lot of cycling of cards here.
There's been a rather large hills going up and down where we've got this huge buildup of cards and there's a lot of action getting rid of all of them in the hand. This hasn't been a slow buildup or a slow letdown. This has been big ups and big downs.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. This is pretty interesting situation. Both players playing sixes for a single royal card, which
well, that sometimes it's what you need to do. That effect is too threatening.
yeah, I can't say it's a bad play by any means, but it's just interesting that they both do it back to back.
Now at this point, who do you put at advantage here, launceleyn or DP?
I think it's whoever can get one free turn. Because if you can get value out of like here, this is potentially quite powerful, is turning a 7 into 2 cards.
Mm-hmm.
That's potentially quite valuable. If launceleyn gets a free turn here, I feel like he should just fire off those 4s to burn through some of your opponent's resources. Make them make hard choices.
So
because
right
he
here,
plays the 8 there for points and then just gets absolutely nuked, and DP picks up the second 2 here, so that completely can neutralize the 4 play.
Yeah, so at this point, I actually think that launceleyn's at advantage with that 4/4, 3/3, double jack. He's going to be able to manipulate DP's hand down so he has less resources to work with and then manipulate his own hand back up. At this point, I think launceleyn's either going to draw or win, and DP's either going to draw or lose.
I think
DP using that 2 to say, I need these cards in hand. I can't lose too many cards in hand, which I think is the smart choice there.
Well, and considering neither of them can draw, those 4s can be absolutely devastating. I think if Launce does this 4, I think you counter it and 4 him right back.
100%. And then if I'm launceleyn, I say, okay, I guess this game's going to be a draw. You get rid of your 3s and say that my jacks will stop any offense that you have, and that's just going to be going into, at this point, I think it's game 4 because of the draws that have happened.
Yeah, it's going to be game 4 here.
All right, I'm going to take this moment where we know where this game's going. We're going to take a moment to just go to the bathroom.
All right, yep, you go ahead. I'll hold down the fort here. So the 10 does get jacked over onto launceleyn's side. Oh no, I wouldn't do that. They have perfect information. Oh, that's a shame. And now launceleyn has free reign to pull back whatever he wants with those 3s and really make DP pay for not getting that 4 1-off here. It's really, really powerful to use the 4 1-off effect of making your opponent discard 2 cards. It's check, but launceleyn knows that there's not another 10. Oh, maybe. Let's see. Oh, sorry. Thank you, Dr. Dulcimer, for following the Cuddle channel. Yeah, he would need to jack the 4 here as well. But DP needs to not counter this, no matter what. Yeah, if Launce pulls a 2, then that's still game up in the air. Yep, and that's exactly what he does. So he has to go for the counter on the 2ing the jack here, and we will see. Launce has to counter this. He must. And that will bring us to a draw. More than likely. Launce could pull back.
All right, I am back.
We're still playing this out.
All right. Well, you know what? Sometimes you just gotta
There
go
is
to the
the
end.
stalemate.
You don't know.
Right.
There we go.
Give me 1 second. Sorry, Vetus man. I'm sorry our auto mod
All
hates
right.
you.
Going into the next game. While Toph gets the
Yeah,
stream back up.
our stream's up. We got full visuals.
Oh, there,
So.
there we go. Now we have full vision. All right, cool. So looking at these hands, we've got a good back and forth hand. Both players, I'd say, with above average hands, which is going to cause not too much to happen here. An early four coming out from DP. Launceleyn getting rid of his early point cards says, you know what? I'm going to go for the offense here. If you're telling me you have a four, you're telling me you don't have much to work with. I'm going to get this queen out and get some advantage. DP drawing some good point cards with that 10 of hearts. Launceleyn gets the 10 of spades and the 2 from this 5, again showing the value of getting those top 2 cards. This is going to be a bit of a back and forth in the beginning right here. Launceleyn's going to go for the king advantage here, but DP6, double sixes is just going to stop it in its tracks, and then both players are going to be sitting with a lot of points in hand and not much else to do with them. There's a chance that Launceleyn just goes for the points here, but DP's just going to be able to scuttle him out of it. At this point, DP is looking to increase the value of his hand right now, knowing that he's at the advantage. He can take the card advantage. He's taking the turn to find a solution, knowing that he's got that defense of the scuttling if he needs. If I'm DP, I go for the reload. If I'm Launceleyn, I go for the reload right here. I don't think there's any way to really eke out advantage here. DP is going to go for the 3, though.
Well, maybe DP takes this slow time to get the queen out just to get that pressure up. But there's not really a good way for him to deal with that 10 that he has in hand.
There isn't. DP picked up the 2, which unfortunately is useless against Launceleyn right here. So he did waste a turn and allowed Launceleyn to pick up that 9 of clubs, increasing his point value. DP going again for the 3. He's going to pick up, it looks like, if he picks up another solution to Royals, then that's just going to be a big advantage for Launceleyn. He picks up the 6 for another answer to Royals. Launceleyn doesn't know this right now, but he could just churn out these cards, and that would be game over. There's no aces available for him. Launceleyn is going to take it slow, though. As you said, he is a much more conservative player.
Yeah, he's definitely a bit more on the cautious side, and that gives DP the time to draw into an ace.
So for
pretty unfortunate.
Yeah, for those who've played with us a lot at our weekly cuddles, G-Man is known as making it so that aggressive plays are seen as more possible. And there's 100% chance that G-Man in Launceleyn's situation would have just started throwing out those cards and saying, do you have an answer? And he would have picked up that win there. Now we've got a jack fight going on here.
I honestly think that...
Is it too mature to call a jack fight a jackknife?
Sure. We can call it a jackknife. You're bringing a jack to a knife fight here.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, the queen top deck.
Yeah, but that 2's there, which Launceleyn cannot draw right now. DP knows it, so DP will be able to play the queen and pick up that 2 if he wants.
I might have countered that and just picked up the 2.
Knowing that you're drawing the 2?
Yeah. Well, no, because Launceleyn would have taken it. No, because you can counter on your opponent's turn. No, that would have been fine.
Yeah, I think you're right. That the counter there was a much better choice. And knowing that you're going to replace that 2 and it keeps that queen on the board, I think you're absolutely right there.
Yeah, I think just for value, you deny your opponent the tempo there.
Yeah. Now, it is going to work out because he did draw. He does have that extra 2. DP is going to put out this ace. It's going to get potentially countered, but Launceleyn knows he has the 2. He's still going to try and draw that 2. And what he doesn't know is that DP has that 2 of hearts. And DP, I'm not sure if he knew it or not, but he made a fantastic play there, playing the 2 of spades, not the 2 of hearts, because the 2 of spades is what was public knowledge, but the 2 of hearts was not. So Launceleyn technically has no way of knowing outside of a hard read that DP is still sitting on another 2.
Yeah, absolutely correct. Or playing that 8 for the vision of your opponent's hand. Of course, Launceleyn did have 2 8s in hand, 1 now out on the board for points. Now, I noticed that Launceleyn is not much of an 8 glasses player, despite his more conservative play style, which I think is rather interesting.
I think the A class is just a very interesting card to work with because, on one hand, it's great because it tells you the information for sure. But the better you get at reading your opponent, the better you get at reading the game, the better you get at running the hypergeometrics to figure out what are the chances that they have the card that will kill you, the less powerful the 8 becomes. DP deciding to run some points out here right now. Launceleyn playing not scared because he knows that he's got tempo right now. DP is going to take that tempo away from him with the 8. Launceleyn's going to have to use scuttling right here for defense. He can't risk that ace getting 2'd with only 9 cards left in the deck. It is a very likely chance that DP has picked up one of those 2. Launceleyn is making the nice principal play to make sure that he does not get blown out of this game by trying to ace when he shouldn't. DP is going to run these points out to try and force a win here.
Yep. Sorry about that. I was just dealing with something in the chat, fixing our auto
Nothing
moderator.
wrong with that.
But here we are. So DP is just forcing the issue.
Yep. And there we
here
go.
It is. His patience has been rewarded. DP taking the W. Which I'm not sure what game that was anymore, because I think we had...
So on a technicality...
Here we go, game 5.
On a technicality, that was game 4. This is game 5.
Game 5 in a best of 3?
Yep, there were 2 draws. Game 1 and game 3 were draws. All right, here we go. Starting off with DP trying to reload his hand, not looking at anything very strong right here. Both players with middle of the ground points with some royals to back them up. There's a chance that Launceleyn could potentially get this win with the king and kind of fake out DP, but I highly doubt it. I think he's just trying to get this king down for some slight tempo. We're going to see some reloading here because there's not too much going on.
Some pressure from Launceleyn, though, playing the 7 out. Even though he doesn't have it in hand, there's no way that DP can know that right off the bat. So DP is forced to respond using the 6, which is not the worst value, but it definitely slows down the tempo of the game a little bit and forces out some resources. Launceleyn probably would prefer that his opponent doesn't. And here's DP 3ing back the king. Very early 3 on turn 4.
Well, he knows he's got queen 2-2 to back up that king 9-7.
And smartly plays the queen first.
Yep. Now,
make sure that everything's protected.
Now, at this point, if you're DP staring at 7 cards, I think it would be very aggressive is the word I'm going to use to try and go for this win here. But he might be able to pull it off if he plays the 9 of hearts first, which cannot get scuttled by the 9 of diamonds. But this 4
and the 4 gets countered again.
Matter.
Wow, the double 2s. Wow, a lightning fast win there from
Queen King
DP.
double 2. Yes, BitRocker, he still had all of these.
Yep. And that will be the end of winners round 3, which will mean that the winners bracket will be going into the best 3 out of 5 format, I believe, at this point, as we are in the winners semifinals.
DP is going to move forward to face G-Man. That's going to be seed 9 versus seed 2.
DP is making one hell of a run.
Launceleyn's going to go down to face HF Romeo.
Yep, and right now we have HF Romeo has taken down PF Cuttle. Launceleyn will take on HF Romeo now in losers round 3, and Dan Man is playing ALF1, the top seed ALF1 versus the bottom seed Dan Man at number 12. That should be an interesting one, especially if Aleph gets knocked out. That would be a massive, massive upset. So we will try and get...
I think the next game that we should do is the Launceleyn versus... is the
DPG Man.
Launceleyn versus...
I think DPG Man.
I'm going to see if... Are DPG Man playing?
They should be.
They are currently not playing. Let me go check in with them.
Yeah, you go ahead and check. I'm going to pull up...
Shameless plugs?
Pull up Shameless Plugs, and we'll pull up the Launceleyn HF Romeo just in case. Go. They are, in fact, already playing. So let me just have that up in the background for 1 second while I do some shameless plugs. We are representatives of the Cuddle Discord. This is the Cuddle World Championships for 2022. All of these people play with us on Wednesday nights and on Thursday midday. Come join our Discord, which the link will be posted here. And if you so choose and get really invested in the project, we are completely funded by our Patreon. It helps us keep the servers up so that people can play this wonderful game whenever they like. That link is there. There is no pressure to contribute monetarily. We have coders who help us from the community. We have artists who help us from the community. And obviously, Solmen and I are also from the community and play as well. But for this tournament, we are purely on the caster desk. So
Yep. Now, with that in mind, going into the casting, we have an interesting situation here where Launceleyn's sitting on 3 10s Jack Queen, and HF Romeo is sitting there on 2 8s and an 8 with a defense to take out any offense by Launceleyn that is not pure points. But now
he
with
pulls
double
the
jack
double
pickup.
jacks. Yeah, so now he does have the answer to points. So I think he's got to let this 3 go through. I think it's not worth the 2.
I agree. I think at this point, Launceleyn's playing it safe as again, and HF Romeo is going to get an opportunity to reload. And this time, Launceleyn's safety is going to be to his benefit so that he does not run into this double jack.
Yep, and there's the 6 counter, the very smart play from Romeo here.
Yep.
There's the scuttle on the 8 with one of the 10s, which...
another queen taken by HF Romeo.
Counter.
Unfortunate.
I think, yes, that's the smart play. You absolutely let that 2 go through. You keep your 2, keep a queen up. That was an absolutely huge draw from Romeo. Counters the second 6. Launceleyn is throwing everything at him, and Romeo so far has just had the answers.
Now, luckily, Launceleyn's got a lot of high points, so he can scuttle his way out defensively. But what's probably going to end up happening because of that is we're probably going to end up at another.
Oh my god, he pulls another 2 with the 5. What a massive play. That's the last 2, unless somebody pulls something back with a 3.
Yeah, now Launceleyn drawing that second king gives him an opportunity to win here with king 10. Launceleyn knows that there's no other 10 left, and HF Romeo is not going to be able to pull off this win with even though he's bluffing
but the
3. King. 3 is going to get him back to 10. He now has the win. There's nothing Launceleyn can do. That's game over.
Yep, that's going to be round 1, and Launceleyn knows he's beat, and there it is. Here, while we're in between games, if you could just take over the beginning of the next one, I am going to stretch my legs and have a coughing fit.
Sounds good. We're going to go into game 2 right now with HF Romeo and Launceleyn. Thank you, everyone, for joining. We hope you've been enjoying our shoutcast and enjoying these games so far. If you have any questions, put them in the chat. I promise I will get to them in time. If you got questions about strategy, ways to play, things like that. But here we are going into game 2. Launceleyn looking at 6, 6, 9, 10, Jack, Queen. HF Romeo at Ace, 3, 10, Queen, King, King. Both players with a bit more of a reactive hands, not much to work with in the beginning for offense. We're likely going to see just some reloading, finding some aggression here with Launceleyn putting down the king. HF Romeo did pick up double king, so he has that ability to threaten king, king 10, but he's got to play it safe because he's got no reads on what Launceleyn's doing here. Launceleyn pulling off that king is going to allow HF Romeo to play a card queen out and know that he can now get his one-offs off safely. Launceleyn's likely going to put a queen out on his own to make sure he can't get any of his things jacked away. And now HF Romeo is going to try and get some reads on what to do. He's likely going to draw a card. Here he is with the draw. Launceleyn's putting on the aggro with the 10 of hearts. Romeo is going to need to take this ace, just rip it off because he's got no way to get with this 10 of spades. And Launceleyn's likely going to pump the brakes given his play style. He's going to try to reload. Oh, no, he's pushing it again with the 9 of diamonds. He didn't fully realize that HF Romeo could have enough to scuttle that. He's going for it, and it's going to put him at a slight disadvantage. He's pushing this 6 of hearts right here I'm not sure why. He doesn't have enough points in hand to win, nor can he jack for the points to win. HF Romeo can pull off a slow win of his own if he wants. He's going to go for the defensive scuttle because he doesn't know that launceleyn does not have enough wins. So launceleyn's bluffing here.
Wow, I came back to a heck of a situation here.
Oh yeah, Romeo's going to go for the 4 to knock out launceleyn's hand, and that's going to put Romeo at a huge card advantage. But launceleyn did just pick up the points to win with that 10. If HF Romeo does not respect the potential top deck, that's going to be game over. And Romeo's going back and forth.
He scuttles the
scuttles
6.
That 6.
Plays very safely.
Launceleyn does not draw enough to be able to threaten with that king. I think given the way that he's been playing, he's probably going to still try to threaten this with the 10. He plays it safe with the jack. Romeo's got a 6 to deal with the king and queen whenever he feels he's under pressure. Welcome back, Toph.
Yeah, good to be back in this very interesting situation here. Everybody's just reloading back up. So
yep.
Romeo plays the 5 and pulls another queen. Romeo has 3 queens potentially to be used here. There's a 10. There's a big 9.
Now we're looking
and
for
heart of the cards.
If I'm launceleyn, you got to counter, and then Romeo's going to counter back, and let's see if we can get an ace or a scuttle possibility here.
Oh, and he gets
ace. He's got to rip that ace off. Now, unfortunately, that's going to allow launceleyn to draw that 10 of clubs, which really Romeo would have loved with his double 10 combo, but there's probably going to be a reload going on here. If I'm launceleyn, I don't go on the offense here because there are 4 cards that I just don't know about. Here we go. We're going to reload.
Yep, we're going to load back up here and see what we got. Romeo gets the king out early. Does he play it without the queen? No, he's debating.
If I'm Romeo right here, I get my queen down. You know that many of the 6s are gone. It's not likely that launceleyn's lying on another 6. We also do have the backup queen just in case he does. He's going for the king to threaten the 10. My personal issue with this situation is that if launceleyn calls the bluff, there's nothing that Romeo can do kind of after that to really keep that bluff going.
Now, that's absolutely true.
Now, launceleyn did not call the bluff. He respected it, so he was able to rip that 2 out of the hand, but that could have all been avoided just by playing the queen down earlier. He's sitting on 2 queens. I think this was a bad order coming from Romeo, but we'll see if it ends up working out for him. That 6 was drawn by launceleyn, so he was able to clear out those royals, and Romeo was able to get his second queen down. But now he's down that king that he didn't need to be down.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think that was a bit of a mistake there in play order. There's a pretty powerful 4. Getting some good value out of Romeo's hand here. And the thing is that launceleyn can follow that up with a second one. He is hovering that. He is ready to go with that extra 4.
He is ripping out these points. Those 2 4s just got rid of in total. Depending on what he discards here, he discarded 15 points before, and it looks like it might be getting 29 points in total gone. So that was actually an extremely defensive 4.
Yeah, 2 very powerful 4s, and Romeo deciding to respond in kind with a 4.
Launceleyn's deciding to keep his jacks because he's banking on drawing that last 2 to deal with the queen.
Oh, and Romeo pulls it. And Romeo pulls the 2, and launceleyn got rid of his 3.
Yeah.
So he needs to get lucky and draw another 3.
Yeah, or else these jacks are just going to be completely dead cards. He pulls that 3, but now that 3 100% needs to be used on a 2 or a 6. But because Romeo's got that 2, that 6 and 2 that he gets is going to be useless. launceleyn, by deciding to keep these jacks, forced himself into a situation where these jacks are now dead cards, unfortunately.
Yeah. Unless, well, the last card should be a 3, I believe. Because I believe only 2 have been played, and we see 1.
And Romeo's going to draw it.
Yeah.
Next turn.
Yeah,
right. Because at this point of the game, when the deck is at the point where you can actually exhaust it, you want to get yourself up on resources unless you're worried about losing right now.
Yep, and there is the final 3.
Oh, it looks like there was a 6. I miscounted before. There was one more 6. Well played by Launceleyn to know that he can get that, but unfortunately, Romeo is going to be able to counter this
No,
6, and he should. He's not going to.
Launceleyn pulled the 6 with the 3.
Oh, he pulled the 6 with the 3. I
Yeah.
apologize.
He pulled the 6 with the 3, and then but now Romeo has the final say on
Got
the
it. Now
3.
I think that was a mistake from Romeo right there, not tuning that queen right there and making the known jacks in Launceleyn's hand dead. Now these jacks are alive, and Launceleyn has a chance to pull off this win.
I think Romeo needs to 3-back a queen here. I think he knows that he should know that that is a huge power play to prevent Launceleyn from doing much.
100%. I'm with you.
Because he knows where all the 3s are. He knows all the queens are in the discard. He knows that Launce has a king.
We are essentially dealing with perfect knowledge at this point.
Correct.
I think that at this point in the game, there should be an agreed upon setting that both players can check off or agree to, where it just goes open hand at this point. Saves a lot of time, saves people from needing to go through the scrap pile, count the cards, figure out what's in the opponent's hand.
That is fairly reasonable. I think that might help out. Just as a side note, LF1 did manage to pull out the win against Danman, keeping the miracle run in the losers bracket alive. So the losers round 3 bracket is this game, Launceleyn versus Romeo, and then SUBMARINO versus Aleph, which that should be a pretty interesting match as well. Those two players know each other very well.
Yeah, SUBMARINO's been here since the beginning of cuttle-cards. Now Launceleyn's going on the aggressive here with this king, and Romeo's responding back with the king of his own, which is always an interesting move because in Cuddle, it's known that there's 3 cards needed to win. That's just the least amount of cards you need to win. And if you end up responding to your opponent playing a card needed to win with your own card needed to win, you are behind one turn and essentially losing the race to that win. Launceleyn's just going to rough this out and just say, I've got the jacks on you. You can't do anything against this 10 of clubs. I'm just going to be able to keep this and get
I think pulling the king was a massive mistake here.
Yeah.
That was a massive blunder, unfortunately, for Romeo here.
Yep. I think Romeo needed to take the time to 2 away the king instead. And now Launceleyn was able to get that 10 to stick without that jack worry. He's getting rid of the jack, which I think is just a misplay because he knows that Launceleyn's got the jack to just take it back. And now he has no way to stop this victory.
Yep. He could.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Same with chat. Chat, is there something I'm missing here?
Yeah, I think what Romeo could do is 9 bounce the jack and hope that Launceleyn doesn't have another response, basically. Which I suppose he could 9 the jack again, 9 the other jack, and they could both bounce it back and forth, but then Launce ends up in the same situation a turn later.
Yeah, it doesn't matter because Launceleyn has that extra point card to win with that king down there. Launceleyn's got this game. It's just a matter of time waiting for the cards to settle.
Yep.
Well, as we wait for those cards to settle, what do you want the final bracket to be?
Who would I like to see? I'd love if DP makes that miracle run. He's playing up against one of the best players in the community right now, G-Man, up in the winners bracket semifinals, which is a 3 out of 5. And
oh my God, is Launceleyn going to throw this? I think Launceleyn's about to throw this, using this 9 of spades right now. Oh no, he's not going to throw it. He's got a 9 of spades right now to get the 10 back.
No, it bounces to its owner, to its controller.
Yeah, you bounce the jack. Bounce the jack to get the 10 back to your side of the field.
Right, but if he bounces the 10, it's going to go into Romeo's hand. If he bounces the jack...
he goes for the jack.
He goes for the jack, bounces it back.
Takes the 10 back, and now Romeo can't do anything to stop the 10, so now Launceleyn wins.
Correct. Yep. That is it. If Launceleyn had bounced the 10, that would have been that's one of those very interesting interactions where if it specifically says return it to its owner's hand, not to not to the player's hand.
It says controller's hand. The owner of the card in that situation was launceleyn, because that was launceleyn's card, but the controller of the card was Romeo.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, the other way. Yeah.
So there we are.
Make sure you read those rules. Those are the definition differences that make and break tournament wins.
Yep. And is that their last game? I kind of lost track in the middle of everything.
I believe that was the last game. Let me check in.
That means that launceleyn would be moving on and Romeo would be knocked out. Let me see if I can get that DPG Man game up. DP is not playing right now. And G-Man is not streaming, so I don't think they have started playing yet. So maybe let's look at SUBMARINO versus Aleph. Right? It's weird having multiple people control one Twitch account because we can all chat in the same thing with in the same chat with the same name, and you don't know who did it. So here we are. We are watching the other losers bracket round 3 match. We have Aleph versus SUBMARINO. Two longtime players, including the founder of cuttle-cards, Aleph. So we will see what we got here. So looks like Aleph has a queen up on the board. SUBMARINO has a 4 out for points. And SUBMARINO has pulled out a 7 to try and top deck something. Does he play the 3 for the 1-off? Oh,
so boy. we just let you know, I updated them that it was only 1-1, and they weren't sure, so they are going to be going into game 3.
All right, well.
So what I'll do, I'll watch the game, so that when you hop over, so that we don't have you hopping too much, we'll finish out this game, and then you'll hop over, and I'll tell you what's going on.
Okay, sounds good. So right now we've got a pretty slow play here in the Aleph SUBMARINO game. Aleph's playing the 7 out behind a queen, and there comes the king, but the 4 is jacked and then immediately scuttled by SUBMARINO. Then a 1-off 3 coming out from Aleph. Cannot be countered because of that queen. Pulls a jack back into his hand to give him more options.
Game over. Romeo wins with king 10.
Jeez Louise.
Speed run.
And that means that launceleyn is out.
Yeah, that is the end of launceleyn's tournament. Romeo gets through. Let's hope that he can shake off some of the rust, some of the misplays that he was doing in that match, and he can clinch it out and get all the way to the end.
Yeah, that would be pretty fantastic if it ended up being something like DP and HF Romeo, both relative newcomers to the scene and the 8 and 9 seeds in the tournament so far.
Indeed. All right, so tell us what's going on in this game right now.
Well, right now, well, it's kind of as you see it. They've kind of just been trading things back and forth. Aleph just pulled back a jack with a 3. A turn or two ago, they've just been drawing up a little bit. This game has been played particularly slowly.
Okay.
I'm not sure if it's intentional at this point. As they said, they would try and play a little bit.
Who would you say has advantage?
At this point, it's kind of anybody's game. It depends on what each of them do and how they can respond to it. I would say both of them have a lot of power. Aleph has the queen 2-2, but as far as just pure points power, SUBMARINO has a lot of value and could scuttle everything on the board up until that point, and would force Aleph to scuttle with those 9s.
That makes sense.
And here's Aleph popping out the 9, which Submarino can deal with.
With only 9 cards left in deck, I'm curious as to what cards have already been played. Are we still playing with 10s possible? Are we playing with 8s possible?
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I haven't seen the scrap pile too much.
That's fair.
Hmm.
All right, so we've got the scuttling going on. As you said, Olive is looking to one-off some things back, get some value. All right, so now doing this quick scan, we are looking at a lower point card victory here. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen with some 6s, 7s, and 8s.
Yeah, for sure. Aleph pulling the double jack with a queen to cover with double twos. Almost impossible for Submarino to deal with at this particular point.
Yep. And he's facing an opponent with a king, so Submarino is going to be incentivized to try and get these points out because he can still get that win.
So Aleph lets the queen get bounced there. Oh no, that's devastating. Forcing out the 2.
Yep, now here, I still do feel that Aleph is in a better situation. He's going to be able to get these jacks to be online. Oh, no, he doesn't have a 10.
Yeah, Aleph knows that he can't have a 10 at this point, and there's no 3s left to bounce one back into hand from the graveyard there.
At this point, it's Submarino's game to lose.
Yeah, I have to agree.
If Submarino plays cards, he's going to lose to the jacks. If Submarino just passes, there's very little that Olive can do to get through here. I lied because there's nothing that Submarino can do against the 10 of hearts and the 9 of diamonds. So at this point, it's actually Olive's game to lose. If Olive doesn't play this poorly, he should have this victory, no problem. And here's the 8, Olive jacks, Submarino aces, Olive 2s, and that's game over.
Oh, he scuttles the 8. And Olive is going to play this slow, playing out the 5 to force an ace play, which he would know that Submarino has.
Yep, and there we go. That's the game.
There is the game. Let's see, what game is
moving on to game 2.
Yep,
oh, game 3. No, I was right, game 2.
Yep, into game 2. I appreciate that Submarino's resolution is so small that his screen is huge, so I can actually read the text. It's very handy.
That does help out.
Yes, it does. I actually had to replug in this screen because I don't have something that's the same resolution as the way I set this up the first time, and I didn't feel like resetting it all up because I had to cut the screen by pixels manually.
All right.
So here we are. We got double queen for Aleph, double jack for Submarino. Immediate huge advantage to Aleph with the double queen 2 setup off the bat.
Submarino was trying to aggro it out here and get that 9 of clubs out early, and he was just completely stopped by that queen, making it so that his jacks are just not as powerful.
So we've got queens on both sides, which means that any 2 in hand is going to be powerful, and every one-off is devastating.
Yep, and that ace is going to get Olive's butt off the back burner. He's going to get that fire out from underneath him. You're going to allow him to reposition himself. Submarino is essentially working with a 3-card hand here because those jacks are not doing anything. Olive's likely going to throw down some 4s down for points just to keep him sitting there in case he draws a king 10.
Possibly. I could also see the 4 being useful as a one-off here. Although, if I were Submarino, I would get rid of probably a 7 and a jack there. Hold on to 1 for potential greener pastures a little bit later on in the game.
That makes sense.
So let's see. We got the 6 coming out, which is uncounterable, but then Aleph immediately is able to pop out another queen, which is just a bit demoralizing. Oh, there is the 2. Let's see. Oh. There we see game something going on. Huh.
It looks like game 3 ended with Aleph winning. I will say, if we want to move on back to the winners bracket, DP, Brian, and G-Man are about to start their match. So if we want to move over
Aleph
there.
stop. Not Aleph. SUBMARINO stopped streaming there, so everything just got fouled up.
Interesting.
So I'm not sure exactly what happened there, but I will pull up the DP Brian G-Man game. G-Man is not streaming.
I will work on that.
So, at the moment, we have one hand, which is fine. So as we can see, we have DP playing G-Man. This is the winner semifinal. It is a best 3 out of 5. DP with the queen out. Unfortunately, we cannot see G-Man's hand at the moment, although it looks like that may have changed. Hey.
G-Man is live.
All right, hang on. Going to have to reconnect again because Discord. Just give me 1 second. There we are. Yeah. So here we are. We have there you go. Okay, so we have DP Brian with a queen and a 10 out on the board. We have G-Man with a queen out on the board, popping that 4 to burn some resources from DP. We will see how this continues to play out. We'll see what.
Yeah,
DP
now we've been
wants.
watching a lot of DP Brian this game. We know he plays this mix between defensive and offensive with a little bit of a touch towards defense. And for those who don't know, G-Man is known for his aggressive play style. He is of the ilk that if he can put out enough points to win without losing for doing it, he is more likely to do it and just force his opponent to have it. Now, luckily for DP, G-Man does not have a lot of points in hand. He just has reaction and kings to work with, and that's going to be the game for DP. Game 1 quickly going on.
Wow. DP showing his mettle here up against a perennial winner of weekly cuddles and tournaments. Here we are into game 2. DP playing the early queen and having it get 6'd right off the bat. Playing a 3 to pull back that queen in the hopes that G-Man doesn't have another 6 or is unwilling to play that for a single queen.
Yep, and here we see G-Man immediately starting his offense. He has enough points to win in hand with King 10, and now we're going to see him try and play around that. He's playing this 2 to give it to the queen to allow him to use that jack, or potentially just confuse DP a little bit so that he can get his aggression going. You see that double king coming down, going to force DP to pull out this 6. We're going to see a 2 trade off, and the 6 is going to end up clearing the board.
Yep, that was smart play to not blow the 2 there early from DP. Nice conservative play from him, and he pulls another queen, which at the moment, G-Man can counter.
And he's going to show a lot of respect for it. We're going to see a bit of a reload. DP at this point, probably playing a little bit too safe with that many resources to win. He's a little bit late now to try and pull the trigger because G-Man's got enough defense now. But he didn't know the difference. But that's where G-Man's aggressive playstyle really comes in handy.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely a big win for him. Usually, he plays very aggressively, but he also knows when he needs to play a little bit more coy with his resources, which is pretty valuable for him.
Very true. Now we see G-Man's hovering over that queen. He's probably going to quickly snap that off once he can, just to get that down, keep himself protected, and allow him to set up his board and hand the way that he wants.
So now we see DP in a difficult situation.
It really isn't. He's just holding a bunch of points. He really should be playing out these points. And he's just trying to get some value from these sevens, which this time he did. Getting those 8 for points out was 1 point more. But I think it's just it's a hard way to win if you're just so scared to put out anything. Like at this point, I think DP should either six, get rid of this queen and king, or just play out the 7 for points. And again, he's using it as a one-off, knowing that there's a jack on top that he can't use.
And he swings up again.
He swings and he hits a home run, getting a 9 of spades. But there, just play the 7 for the points. Force the pressure. G-Man setting up that trap with the jack. It's going to get 6, and then it's going to be 2, and that's going to be game over. It's the power of that queen there.
Yep, and that means that we are all tied up at 1. And it also seems that the remaining matches will be played in sequence as opposed to simultaneously. So HF Romeo and LF1, the second to last losers bracket match, will be played after this one, and then we will follow that up with the final losers bracket match, and then eventually the grand finals. So that's pretty exciting. So here we are. DP, man, this man does not miss with pulling queens on opening hands. And he pulls the double 2s off the 5 again. That's the second time he's done that this tournament.
Here.
Incredible power.
I let the 7 go. I don't care about what the 7's going to get because there's no point card that scares me, and every one-off can get countered, and then you can know what the next draw is going to be.
Yeah, I think you don't counter this. Oh, I'm not sure.
He's going to counter it, which is fine. I don't think it's wrong to counter it. I think there's a slight edge to not countering because of that information. The scuttle from G-Man is going to keep him alive, and now DP pulls a jack, which he could have known about and played accordingly if he had not scuttled that 7.
Oh, but there's nothing. He has to believe in the heart of the cards, and he's going to get countered, and it's the same thing.
Down to losers.
No, it's 3 out of 5. So that's 2-1 DP here.
I thought it was 3 out of 5 for the semifinals.
Yeah, that's only game 3.
This is not the semifinals.
Yeah, it is. It says semifinals right on the challenge, dude.
What?
Yeah.
This is
the winners bracket semifinals.
Finals. I didn't realize
winners. Yeah, this is winners finals, and then there's grand finals. So this is the semifinals of the whole thing. For winners bracket. So this is a 3 out of 5. So here we are in game 4.
The fact that loser. Okay. So this is semifinals. I apologize.
Yeah. So that means that we have potentially 2 more games up here. We got DP bouncing that king right on out of there. Unfortunately for him, G-Man has 2 more. But
DP has all the points.
That's true. But oh man, double 2s and then a queen. I think G-Man has pretty much got this in the bag.
I wouldn't say in the bag, but he's definitely in a very good situation here. I think the fact that DP is playing so cautious is going to be the killer for him. All right, there we go.
I think DP needed to play the 4 there, personally. But
why?
I think that
G-Man then discards 2 cards that are useless to him, the ace and the 6.
But the 6 isn't useless to him because he can't. He would have to play one of the 2s. Well, now he draws the 10, so it's a moot point. But let's see.
All right, so what's the street he's gonna get?
Pulling back the 2. I'm not sure I agree with that.
No, that was flat out a misplay going on here because there's nothing he can do to this 2. DP giving away 2 turns for free allows G-Man to win.
Yep, and so we're all tied up going into game 5.
Here we go, tied up. This is the semifinals final.
Yep, the very last game, one way, or potentially draw. Not. There's a stalemate opportunity.
All right, let's hope that DP can keep his wits together and make sure that each move is counting for everything.
Even if he fouls this one up a little bit, he still has an option. You know, he will go down into the losers bracket finals and potentially get his shot at revenge here.
Very true. All right, DP getting some aggression here with this king.
Yep.
G-Man's not going to 6 it. He doesn't value that king nearly as much because he wants to get that 6
my word
to use it. He's going to rip away this king. DP is probably going to pull that 6 off the top, which is going to make G-Man's queen not as effective.
Yeah, he does have a 2 to back it up, however, so
That's
G-Man
true.
is still in a bit of a power position, although on board nothing is going up. But we'll see what G-Man decides to draw here, and DP draws a 2. That's pretty strong. That's going to be potentially quite helpful at certain points during the game.
All right, DP again playing these 7s when there's nothing that he's really looking for. He's just throwing them out randomly,
Yeah, I
and
think
that's
he
going to
needs to
cost
be
him.
willing to play those for points there. He would have ended up one point more on that case. It
Yeah, or just play the 4 because the 4s are threatening point cards because of what they threaten with the king. We're going to see the 2 counter the 6 as you predicted before.
Yeah, and then we're probably going to see him bounce that 6 right back into his hand with that 3.
Yep, using that 3. G-Man's using the 4 to try and get the cards out of his hand because G-Man notices that he has that card advantage since the 3 does not supply you with any card advantage. And the top of the deck is a jack. Oh, sorry, never mind. That jack was already drawn. It turns out the top of the deck was a 4. We're going to see a reload here with G-Man probably had an advantage because of the queen. Oh, and the glass is coming from G-Man. He knows exactly what's going on.
Yep, he can see everything. No matter how fast you play that 6, it's the jig is already up.
Well, depending on how fast you can take a screenshot. For anyone who's playing, if you ever play the 8, do whatever you can to quickly get a screenshot in case your opponent very quickly plays a 6.
Here, oh. Got DP in control here. He's going to rip the number 3 and pull back that queen, which could give him some pretty powerful. It makes his 2s way more threatening, that's for sure, and his 1-offs as well, as none of them can be countered at this point. So here we are. Another glasses 8 comes out.
DP's now flummoxed on what to do here. He's going to put out a little bit of an aggression. And G-Man knows that he's got the answer set up with his jack, with his aces, and with his 10 to be able to scuttle through those 2s that DP does have. Unfortunately,
Hey.
DP draws a dead draw with that queen. He's not going to be able to keep up this offense. And G-Man's able to reload a little bit. That 10 of spades very threatening here. G-Man's got to figure out how he's going to get his way out of it.
Indeed. Also, thank you, BLT Rocker, for the follow. Appreciate it.
Heck yeah. I will happily, BLT Rocker, when we get an opportunity, we can definitely have a more in-depth conversation about that idea of offensive versus defensive play. And we can also provide a bit of history as to why the defensive play was so popular early. Right now, we're going to see that G-Man is playing this ace here, which is going to be rightfully countered. DP's going to try and put out this 10 of spades now, which is going to just spell
disaster for
G-Man,
G-Man.
and that's just going to be the game.
DP
pulls it out. That 10 of spades being unscuttleable. Sometimes it's just the heart of the cards. Well played.
Wow, DP, what a run. All the way to the grand finals. He has dropped he's dropped 4 games total the whole run.
And now G-Man's going to need to play through another semifinals to make it to the grand finals.
Yep, so that means that our next match is going to be Aleph 1, the number 1 seed, versus HF Romeo, another man making a deep run coming from the number 8 seed. Okay,
I got both those. Game up.
Yep, I got it up, and we're just waiting for them to begin at this point.
I'm going to find out what match they're in.
I think they haven't. They were waiting for us.
Oh, okay, fantastic.
Yeah,
I will
so
go
all
matches.
We are ready. Yeah, all matches now are going to be sequential. So we got to see the winners semifinal, or winners final, I suppose, and now we are into the losers semifinal, which I believe will also be a 3 out of 5. So this is going to be some exciting stuff, and I'm so glad that we were able to get more of these games onto stream. It's so much fun to watch these guys play. Everyone here is sorry, our Nightbot is a little bit stock and so is a little aggressive. My bad. And protect. All right. Well, hopefully you guys don't abuse that whole caps lock thing. While we are waiting. Yeah, that's fair. Let me. All right, I'm just setting up a quick new meeting. There we go. Sorry about that. I just wanted to make sure we didn't time out in the middle of the semifinals.
Did you accidentally quit the old one?
No, I made a new one on purpose because they usually time out around an hour. Now with the free version.
Do?
Yeah. Yeah, with the pretty obnoxious. Or that's what it said on the last one. Let's see. Got Aleph versus Romeo. Give me 1 second.
Yep, they actually just started the game. Romeo starting off with a queen on the board.
Yep, here we are. We're able to see it now. Thankfully, Discord decided to not be a pain in my butt.
Hooray!
Hooray, technology. But in any case, here we are.
Aleph now draws. He's holding on ace, 4, 9, 10, jack, king. So he's not got enough for an offense, but not much to back it up. He might be able to slip it in there, but Romeo also looks like he's able to pull off an offense if he wants.
Oh.
Romeo's sitting on much higher point cards. Aleph's going to need to be safe here because if he tries to pull the trigger, he's going to get shut down in a really bad way with this jack.
Yeah, here we are. Look at staring down the barrel of the double king jack. Romeo debating what to play. He's been a pretty solid player with the mixed mid-range kind of a play style. Just a couple of mistakes, but Aleph is not an opponent that you can easily get away with many mistakes against. He is a seasoned hand at this game, has been playing for years, both physically and digitally.
Yeah, I mean, I remember the week that Aleph got back from his vacation where he learned about this game and us just playing it for hours and hours.
Yes, Aleph knows about as much about this game as one could know so far.
Or at least this variant of the game.
True enough.
I should say. And right here, this jack showing it's threatening to Aleph. Aleph's going to pull that ace just to make sure that nothing else continues. If I'm Romeo right here, I start pulling out these kings and just saying, I have king, 10. Do you have an answer? Because you can only use a 6. And just saying, if you have it, you have it. That being said, a lot of people love to be a bit more defensive here. Romeo picking up a 10 of hearts, which is incredible as a defensive move right here to stop
and just absolutely stops Aleph dead in his tracks. That is
now he's going to pull off the king. There's nothing that Aleph can currently do to stop it. He's going to try and go for points instead. Romeo's got the scuttle defense. Aleph's going to have to draw and find a way to deal with this double king.
Certainly is, and he pulls 4
He
jack.
finds a 4, so he's able to get out of this right now. If Romeo goes for it, he's going to get 4. He's going to lose his 9, 10, and then we're going to be in a reload position.
I think at this point, I would play the
That's
10.
what you mean by variable power. So I will tell you more another time, Rocker, when we're not shoutcasting game, of things we've done with the Joker. Because Olive and I have, for at this point, over a past decade, tried a bunch of iterations of the Joker.
Here we are, and
here we go.
And actually, Romeo does exactly what I was going to say: is play the 10, put the force down.
Offers more opportunities
make
for a top
Aleph
deck win.
have the answer. Make him
Which
have the answer.
And now Aleph just cannot pick up any valuable cards here. Here we go, 10 of spades. He's got the 4-10 situation. He's putting down the queen to make sure that no jack can ruin his day. He doesn't have the 2 backup for the ace. Not that it would matter because Romeo's got the queen. So now the question is if Aleph just goes for it or if he thinks that Romeo's got the aces, which he does.
Oh, and this is another thing that we've been finding with some of the newer players, that they like using 7s in kind of odd situations.
Yeah, so
we saw the same thing with DP, but DP was winning too. So they're in the top part of the tournament. So I can't really say that they're doing poorly.
That is fair. I might not agree with their moves, but their results are surely paying off. So Olive does go for this 10 of spades, saying your only answer is an ace, which unfortunately Romeo does have in duplicate.
Yes, he does. And so now we're sitting at a bit of a stalemate. He does go with the 5 double draw and pulls the second 6. That is so strong because now he can play the 6 with no fear of what Aleph might have in his hand.
Very true. Now, Aleph is still sitting here with 3 jacks, so hopefully Romeo does not feel a need to pull off this 6 and then play points. He wants to make sure that he's still protected by that queen. Can't argue with grand finals winners spots. Never mind. I'm not going to say anything.
We can argue with it, but we'd be wrong.
We can argue. It doesn't mean we're right.
Yes.
All right, so now Romeo's trying to figure out what to do here. I think he should be drawing here. He doesn't have a strong position here. He doesn't have a strong enough board to work with. He needs resources.
Yeah. I think he has to play the 6 here.
At this point, he can still
I think the ace is going to get him could potentially get more value elsewhere.
Here. I think he just scuttles with the 8. This ace being gone is a big deal. Oh, he's trying to find the victory here.
Yeah, he's pushing it.
Gonna pull off that one off.
Yeah.
And if I'm Romeo, I put down that queen.
Absolutely, that is by far the strongest play. You have no idea
how many jacks Aleph is working with, and Aleph is in fact working with 3 jacks. If I'm Aleph, I might 2 this queen away because of how powerful these jacks are.
And I would counter this if I'm Romeo.
100% you need to. Romeo is technically not able to get a 3-point win here, although he still might go for the aggression, but I do not think he should. I think he should take this time to reload after countering this and keeping his queen alive.
Yeah, I have to agree here.
For those that are joining us and new, like BLT Rocker, there is an important part of Scuttle, which is this idea of 3 cards needed for victory. There are that is the least amount of cards that you can use to get to 21 points. So you need to always keep that in mind when you're trying to decide, do I go on offense or not? Is how many cards will it take me?
Yeah, it'll either take you 21 points or a king and 2-point cards, or 2 kings and 1-point card. Those are the ways to get there with the 3-card win. There is, of course, more card wins, but they are more complicated. There is also, in fact, a sort of de facto 4-card win with 4 kings on board.
Which is not coded in as an official way to win, but I am of the ilk that it should be.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. If you can pull off 4 kings, why not at that point? Because each time you play a king, it lowers the points total that you need in order to get... Oh, is 4 kings coded now? Nice.
Oh, fantastic! All right.
Yeah, so I haven't been up on the latest updates. I've had a lot of other stuff going on in my life, so I've not been able to keep up with everything. So that is awesome.
Thank you, G-Man and Spud Spadoni, for reading the documentation.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Right,
I
so
probably should have done that myself, but here we are.
Romeo here trying to get the victory, and there's nothing that Aleph can do. Romeo's going to have the points. Aleph, unfortunately, just drawing 3 jacks to lose game 1 here. Sorry, game 2.
Yeah, that's a pretty...
Oh, we've got some Go Romeos in this chat.
Hey, let's go.
Are there any Oreo emotes that exist on Discord? Can we post this Oreo to help out Romeo?
Oh, geez. Well, I'm rooting for just some good games here. I'm gonna try and keep it impartial. But let's see. We're gonna go into.
I was wondering if it was possible. That's all. I'm not for or against anyone here. I was just wondering if it was a possibility.
I'm sure there's a sandwich cookie, a non-copyright infringing sandwich cookie emote somewhere on this website.
I would not be shocked by that.
All right, here we are.
We're going into game 2.
Romeo starting with 10-10-7 to ace, a pretty solid mid-range hand, but Aleph's hand, King, Jack, 9-3-3-2. Those threes are going to be really weak early on in the game.
It's worth noting that if Romeo goes for the win here, there is little that Aleph can do without drawing the right card. Aleph is going to go for a 10 bait. Is going to go for a Jack bait here by playing the 9 and saying, okay, let's play. Now, those who are still new to the game, you need to understand that this is a tell. Aleph is right now trying to say, I have a jack, which he does, but it's important to think of when it comes to bluffing and things like that. He's got the king now to threaten this, and all of a sudden Romeo, who started on the offense, is back on defense. Smart move here using the 10 to scuttle so that he doesn't get 2'd out of the game trying to go for the 2.
Yeah.
You can only offer up a Hydrox. Good grief, what a reference.
What a deep cut right there. And speaking of deep cuts, Romeo losing his 8 there to Aleph's jack. Romeo playing this very conservatively but smartly, doing his best to keep Aleph honest here and not letting him get maximum value from that jack.
Now, as Romeo, since he already played as if Aleph has a 2, he's got to keep going with that 10 to be consistent with what he's playing. He goes for the ace 1 off. It's going to get countered. And luckily, Aleph does not have a way to win right here, but he's going to be able to 3 to get the win while having the 2 backup for the next 2, and now that's going to force Romeo to use the 10 to scuttle, which is going to put Romeo off cards. Aleph will then be able to 10 again for the 10 of spades, and now he's sitting on 2 10s in hand with a king, and Romeo is just looking to top deck an answer here. And it's going to be a big problem for Romeo because he stepped on the gas, then immediately pumped the brakes, and that hesitation, just like when you're driving a car, is going to end up with a crash and burn.
Yeah, that is very unfortunate. That is really an unfortunate set of events for Romeo there. They both burned down through almost all of their resources, but Aleph just keeping things. Oh, the queen. And that queen's
not going to get there. Romeo is getting punished for that misplay, and we're going into a game 3.
Yes, we are.
The color gods were not with Romeo.
Game 34. There we are. All right. Well, let's see. We're going into game.
You cut out there, and all I heard was 34.
Yeah. Well, Aleph typed 34.
Okay.
Yeah, just on his
game
34. Yeah.
Okay.
So here we are.
Rule 34.
No rules. Only games.
Only games.
So here we are. Romeo playing the aggressive king early. Does he let the 6 happen? I think not. I think you counter it.
If you're Romeo and you're playing that king that early, you need to say, I'm being aggressive, and you need to just do it.
You need to commit to the bit. And with 8-6-2-2 as his backup.
And unfortunately, Aleph does have the perfect answer to that 10. And then
the perfect answer to the 8. That is unfortunate.
Not the perfect answer. The perfect answer would have been the 8 of spades. The 10 was the next highest card for scuttling. And now Aleph's going to have the 4, blowing him out of the water.
Countered. And now we draw back up.
Oh, double king. If I'm Romeo right here, I pump the brakes at this point. Aleph has drawn too many cards that can win. Aleph trying to potentially get a win here, and Romeo now threatening the king is gonna force a one-off. Oh, we're pulling some hypergeometrics here. Aleph is calculating the odds of him having drawn one king when there are only 2 kings left in a 33-card deck, or I should say in 19 draws.
Well, or pulling the 10 and having 1 10 when 2 10s have already been played.
That's what I was saying. Him pulling the 10 when there are 2 10s left in 19 draws.
Yeah. Well,
this is when
take a calculated gamble here.
For those that are interested in upping their game, if they go to a hypergeometric calculator, which I'm going to put in the chat right now, if you're trying to determine what's the chance my opponent has one of these, use this bad boy. You can calculate the odds of your opponent having the card that you want, which if I'm Aleph right now, I'm doing that. I'm figuring out what is the chance. And I'm actually going to go through and I'm going to put that in there. In 19 cards, he's looking for 1 success. The sample size Aleph had, or Romeo at that time had 5 cards in hand. He needed 1 success. The odds of him
here
having
we are
that 10,
drawing back up.
Fun fact for those wondering, the odds of him drawing that 10 was only a 26% chance.
Yeah, not bad though.
Very bad. So, that's a 1 in 4.
Yeah, I mean, I play Dungeons and Dragons. You know, like 1 in 4. That's you bet on those.
You bet to win on 1 in 4?
Yeah.
Remind me to host a casino night and have you join.
I'm a blackjack dealer.
Ooh, touche.
So here we are. Romeo bouncing a king back into his hand, has the double 2s and a queen jack. Doesn't have the points to win, but has the potential of dealing the points to win. But unfortunately, Aleph has the same. Oh, I think he should have played the queen before the king.
I think
that's right. A mistake.
Yeah, it's going to end up being a bit of a toss-up here, and it's going to end up costing him the game.
Going to the jack, he does have that advantage over Aleph.
G-Man with the Great Shade Throne, of course a blackjack dealer would suggest you.
And there it is, Romeo taking that game, and I am unsure if this one is a 3 out of 5 or if Aleph has just been eliminated.
This should be a 3 out of 5 because this is losers semifinals. Oh no, there's an extra round of losers. Yeah. Which is losers finals. Yeah, so this is losers. So this
should be a 3 out of 5.
So they should be playing another game. I'm gonna go check and make sure that they're aware of that as well.
I'll hide the screen for the moment, but Romeo is currently either winning 2-1 or up 2-1. We believe up 2-1, but we will once I hear more from my co-caster Solmen, we will see whether it's that game or potentially Romeo versus G-Man for the losers finals for the final spot. Looks like we are going to potentially be going into Romeo versus G-Man. Aleph is the organizer of the tournament, so he has.
So this is not the semifinals. It was marked incorrectly on the challenge. It is underneath semifinals, but it is not the semifinals.
Okay, so this next match
has been knocked out.
All right, well, Aleph has been eliminated. Excuse me, from the tournament, which means that we will have Romeo versus G-Man for the final spot. Having an issue. There we go. All right. So we have Romeo on the right hand of your screen, starting out with triple jack 7662, and then G-Man coming out with the king queen 9743. Neither hand is particularly powerful Although the queens against the triple jack is pretty devastating potentially from G-Man. G-Man, a long in the tooth, seasoned player here, and currently by far the highest seed remaining, being the only one of the top 6 still in the tournament. At
Easily.
second seed. HF Romeo being rated 8th, and DP waiting as the final boss with a bracket reset. DP is waiting at coming from seed 9 all the way through winners bracket in grand finals. I think this grand finals could be very exciting. We could have a very, very new champion. So here we
So
are.
here we're looking at a discard here, getting rid of one of those jacks because they, while they are nice and triplicate when they're working, you got to trim the fat somewhere when you're hit with a 4.
Yeah, absolutely. You just have to not worry too much about losing a third jack. The chances, 2 jacks, when you have 3, you know that your opponent can only have 1, so you can always win that jack battle.
Yep, that's a great point there.
So G-Man plays the queen, gets it burned, plays another queen, gets that burned, and then draws. Doesn't decide to go with the final queen. Romeo taking a quick gander at the scrap pile, very, very dedicated to that practice. They're looking at a play, decides to draw here, pulls the 8 of clubs. Let's see what G-Man decides to do here. Taking a look. Is he going to play the king? Is he going to play a queen? Going to draw? Could pop the 4 one off as well. Lots of options, all of them kind of middling. Draw, pulls a 5, potential more draw coming forward. Taking a quick look at the challenge page. All right, and then we're popping back over. Hey man, stop looking at the challenge page, man. We're back over here. Romeo has the king out, playing the 8, putting the pressure on. Telling G-Man, do you have it? Can you stop me? Of course, we know that G-Man does have the resources needed to be able to come back into some kind of equilibrium. Back into Romeo's court here. See what he does. I would say probably he would like to reload here. Probably wants to save that 6. But probably G-Man isn't going to be playing his king until he has something to follow it up, or the backup to cover the king-queen to protect it from a 6 play.
Especially when he's facing down the barrel of a king. Like I said before, you can't go behind on that tempo. If G-Man plays the king, then he's just telling his opponent, like, here's a free turn.
Yeah, at this point, he has to know that it's going to work out for him. We are. Does he blow the 10 here? He can't cover the 10 from an ace. We operate on the honor system, Rocker, because everyone is streaming this in the same Discord call, and you just don't watch your opponents.
I have actually been watching who's joined which streams to make sure that it's not happening. So while there is honor code, there is there is Big Brother watching, making sure that there's no one else in the streams to see what the hands are.
Yeah, or if there are, then they can just come here and watch the play here, which is more preferential because then we get
the viewer.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. That being said, back to the game. We got a spicy 7 here with 10 club, 9 of clubs.
Yeah, some interesting choices here.
G-Man going for the 9 to bounce the king because he doesn't have a good answer, and I don't know if I'm a fan of that because then that gives Romeo the 10 of clubs.
Yeah, that's pretty potentially devastating there. lets the 3 go through. He pulls a jack, but he doesn't know that Romeo has double jacks in hand still. He still isn't sure. So here we are.
If I'm Romeo here, I get rid of a 6 and a jack. You want to keep that 2 for aces. You want to keep the 10s for points.
Yeah. Yeah, and then you just have to play a little bit more reactively on jack play. You kind of have to wait for G-Man to make his move. He's thinking about it real hard.
He's tanking on this one.
Jack
oh,
10.
He's going to keep the 6. So he's keeping the 6 to be able to use it as a lower point, I guess, because he doesn't want to be using the 6 for the 1-off here.
No, he really doesn't. Unless he gets into a bad situation with queens. Again.
But he's in the advantage at this point. There's 1 queen left. He's kind of setting himself up to give G-Man a chance.
Is
what's going on here. He's literally saying, okay, G-Man, here's your chance to come back. Because he's now giving up that hard to scuttle cards.
The 7 is so strange here, but he pulls an 8. D8's for points here. That's enough.
Well, it's not enough. It's threatening lethal, but we've got the jack here. He jacks back. Then we're going to have some battle happening with the 2s that's going to end up resetting everything. Yeah. And then Romeo's going to need to draw to not get screwed over by this 4 in G-Man's hand.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, but it won't matter there. The double counter comes out.
Yep.
Pulls a 6.
Here comes the draw. Well, we knew that 6 was there.
Oh, man, pulling the 2 there could really make a huge difference.
Well, it's another way to deal with that king, which is great. And now, like, if you're Romeo right now, imagine if you had that was a 10, not a 6. Yeah. So much better. You'd have king 10 on the board right now, and that would be lethal. That would have been lethal being drawn. It wouldn't have changed the moves that happened, but in that theoretical sense where G-Man doesn't have all the answers, that would have been huge.
Does pull the queen out of the deck, pulls another 5 to be able to reload a little bit more.
Yeah, now at this point,
and there it is.
Well, that's 9 of spades, 10 of spades. Those are 2 of the top 3 cards left in this deck right now. He's going to whip out that 10 of spades.
Should have popped the queen first, I think.
He's got to keep going with this aggression. He Romeo is very big on like stepping it on and then stepping it off. He's just got to keep going here.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think he's got to pop that. He's got to pop that 9.
Yeah, you need to Unga Bunga cuddle here because if G-Man gets out of it, it's going to cost almost all of G-Man's resources. All right, G-Man sees the writing on the wall. He's trying to figure out the spiciest way to get out of it.
And I don't think that's not enough. That's not enough. And Romeo takes game 1.
Up the game.
What a slugfest that really was.
Yeah, that was going back and forth hard. These draws are these
honestly
where the points are going are very much determining these games.
We've seen so many times where playing the 5 for the 1-off and getting the top 2 cards has just really been so powerful. We've seen it with DP pulling double 2s twice, and we saw it there with HF Romeo pulling 2 5s up from that, basically from the 0 draw, and then being able to get the 8, the 9, and the 10 and a queen to back it up as like an option for him, and being able to just push G-Man down with enough big points cards that G-Man just couldn't handle.
All right, here we go. Going into, I believe this is game 3, right?
I believe this is game. I don't know.
Game 2. Didn't Romeo win really fast that first one?
Honestly, I've watched so many games of Cuddle today, I can't remember anymore.
No. That was Romeo's other game. All right, never mind.
Yeah, that was Romeo.
All right.
So I believe this is game 2. So we have
and G-Man's got the randomizer this time in his favor. He's got more points cards. I'm sure we're going to see an aggression coming up from G-Man in the next few turns, especially with Romeo not doing anything aggressive.
There's some nice pickups though from Romeo getting that 7 and the jack here. He does have the 6 in hand, and G-Man does not have a 2, which is
no,
really...
but G-Man's just going to put down the queen. He's going to feel comfortable enough to keep going if it doesn't get blown up, which of course it will.
Yeah, absolutely. Romeo, absolutely knowing how powerful the queen can be. Romeo winning many games today because of that queen power. I think he's got to take the queen here.
Of course.
Forget about the 10.
Well, G-Man can't draw the 10.
Not this turn, no.
No. So that Romeo just found out that he's getting a queen and a 10.
Yeah, G-Man's if he wants it.
Oh, but G-Man's going to try and 7 to get it. G-Man is able to get it from the 7, so that 10 goes down. Romeo could not know that 7 was there.
Oh, that is true. If Romeo wins this match, it will be a repeat of the very first match that we watched.
Spud Spadoni with the bracket analysis. Thank you.
Calling that out. That's pretty wild.
Romeo's looking to take
Jacking
the 10 of hearts.
The 10.
G-Man's, since he can't get through that queen, he's going to play that ace just for that 110, which is such a shame because that's a 2-for-1 in Romeo's favor, and it puts the tempo back on Romeo, which is the power of what the jack can do. Romeo now picking up a very defensive hand with these aces. Luckily, he does have that queen to back him up, so I don't think G-Man's going to be able to go for anything anytime soon, but he's going to try and find a way to give his stuff in for free. I think G-Man's got a read that Romeo's maybe got some jacks, and that's why he went for the queen here instead of a way to deal with the queen.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Yeah, that's an interesting read. Like, I think that G-Man probably thinks he has the other 2 jacks, because G-Man, of course, knows that there's 1 in the discard and 1 in his hand.
Yep. All right, you got 7 here, getting the points down for Romeo.
Yeah, that's pretty powerful and forces the queen out. But now,
well, I think G-Man was putting that out no matter what. But yeah, there's very little that G-Man can do.
I think Romeo just needs to push the tempo here.
I think he does get the resources out of G-Man's hand. It's very lucky for G-Man that Romeo has not gotten as many big points this game, which is nice. He's not going to be able to do that, but Romeo has shown that he has been quite manipulative with his points. He does find these ways to get it in, using the 3 of clubs to threaten lethal. He's going to force a 3 to be scuttled by 8. You got to love to see it.
Yeah.
This is heads up.
Scuttles the 10 with the 10.
Now, if I'm Romeo, I play the 9 of hearts or the...
I play the 8 of spades there, which forces a trade up.
Yep. Again, I'm going to do the 9 of hearts here and just get those resources out. He's going to decide to draw instead, but that's okay. G-Man now thinks that Romeo is completely out of cards, so he can get through. Romeo's going to try and bluff this win with the 8 for the 10. G-Man's going to have to respond, and hopefully Romeo continues with this bluff that G-Man has been respecting so that he can make it so that he does not lose. And that is what happens here. Good playing by Romeo. Well done to get all of those high points out of the way. That was a very scary position for him to be in without him knowing. He's got the 3. He's probably going to 3 back for a 10 at this point because he does have that ace backup in case G-Man decides to go on aggressive. He's going to get the 6. All right.
Nope. What's he doing? What are you doing, Romeo? Let's see. He's looking at the 10 of spades, or he's looking at the 6 here.
The 6 is probably the play to win. The 10 of spades is the play to not lose. All right.
Yep, takes the 6 of spades, which is still a good points card if he needs it. Like, potential.
Yeah, I mean,
it will always trade up.
Yeah.
It will always trade up in this. Romeo pulling another 3 here.
Yeah, he's got something to work with. If I'm Romeo, I get that queen down, though. Make sure no shenanigans can happen.
Yeah, I have to agree.
And it looks like Romeo might be agreeing as well.
Yep. Oh nope, he's going to draw. He draws a 10.
Cards. He picks up the 10 of spades. And that's the last 10 in the deck. Sorry, 10 of diamonds. And that's the last 10 in the deck. Might as well be the 10 of spades. No, I'm joking.
At this point,
that was the 10 of diamonds. And now G-Man is looking at that double king and he's going to try and threaten, I believe, the double king 10, but he doesn't know that Romeo has outdrawn him, knows that that 10 is not a threat. And Romeo actually, if G-Man goes for a double king here, Romeo is going to get 2 free turns. to just kind of play around.
Yeah, he's got some real power here.
Yeah, this
I think
queen's got to come down.
Yeah, I think he really has to play this queen at this point.
It's doing nothing in his hand. He's got 8 cards in hand. He's got to play a card. He's going to make his hand even better. What's he going? He's going for the 6 here. He really wants to make sure that this king play can't happen. And G-Man picks up another king. That's incredible. Romeo, please play this queen at this point. You're at maxed hand.
Yeah, he really has to play this queen because otherwise the double 2s of G-Man are going to come back and haunt him when he tries to play that 6.
Oh, if he goes to the points here, G-Man's just going to be able to jack the 10, and then Romeo needs to deal with his own 10. I think he's scared to play the queen because he wants to be able to 6 away that king.
Yeah, I think you just have to be willing to go for the win or go for the sacrifice play.
Yeah, G-Man's going to be able to take that 10 and use that 10 as aggression, and Romeo's going to jack it back, but that makes Romeo lose the jack that he could have had to be able to turn the game around. And yeah. I'm going to call it again. I think that Romeo's making a misplay here by not playing that queen so early.
Yeah, there's the scuttle with the 4. Here comes the queen. I think it's it's not quite too late,
but it's too late, but
it might be enough.
It's later than it should have been.
Yeah, I think you have to counter this. I think you have to counter this. I don't... yeah, it being the last queen, a lot of 3s have already been played. I don't know if it's all 4 of them, but...
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. I absolutely agree. This will force the second 2 out of G-Man's hand.
Yeah, at this point, Romeo's just got to play for the draw, I think, unless he can pull up the rest of the high point cards in the deck.
And unfortunately, G-Man pulling the 8 there, I think he's got to play this 5 for a one-off.
100%. He's got to draw as many cards as he can.
Ooh, that 4 and that jack. The jack could be huge.
Yeah. Yeah, this isn't looking as bad because of what that jack can represent. All right, triple ace. Yeah, this game's gonna go to a draw. I don't see a way for either of these players to win it if
without a blunder from their opponent. Discarding the double 6s.
And just saying, fine, this queen's gonna sit there because he knows he's got the other 2.
Yeah.
Ooh. Romeo definitely with a big up and down from this game. G-Man with all of the points he needed to win was able to get there through a bluffing Romeo. Was able to get all of those stripped out of his hand. Then Romeo with the advantage was not able to recognize when he needed to get that queen down, which then allowed G-Man to recover. And now we're here at the stalemate.
Yep. All right, while we're waiting for them to get into the next game, just one moment.
Yep, no problem.
Okay.
What an intense game of cuddle right there. Both players had an opportunity to win, but they weren't fully aware of it. That's the power of perfect information. All right, going into game 3, technically. You got both people working with a king and 10 in hand, king 10-4 in hand, but G-Man's able to support it with ace queen 9, and Romeo's only got the support of jack 3, and unfortunately that 3 is not going to do too much here. G-Man, knowing that king can be aggressive, wants to put the queen down to make sure that his ace can go off without a hitch. Romeo's thinking about going on the aggression, but after seeing that queen and knowing that means there could be a good defense set up by G-Man, I think he's going to end up taking it safe. He's looking to put down that 10 of clubs and hope that there's no answer. Let's see what happens. All right, he does put down that 10 of clubs, hoping that there's no answer. G-Man's just going to rip off this ace, which cannot get hurt. Romeo's going to have to reload a little bit. Ow. All right, now G-Man's going for the offense here. Romeo with the 4 to force him to discard. G-Man's going to keep that 10 of spades. He does not draw another point card. Both players drawing 2s, but G-Man with the advantage with that queen. Romeo's now going to try and get rid of that queen so that he'll be able to play this jack game. And G-Man's deciding whether he uses his queen or not. If you're G-Man, I think you counter these things. You keep your queen alive because you're still safe from twos and jacks. G-Man does pull that extra point card to get him there. This jack of spades, this 10 of spades cannot get answered. Romeo has no way. G-Man gets this victory here.
Yeah,
Quick game 3 to tie it up.
7 into 6.
Oh, man.
Would be the only way.
My heart. Hey! 7 to ace or 6. All right, and you ace here. Oh, Romeo goes for the 6 here?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, he loses his own jack that way, unfortunately, though. All right, now he knows his opponent's got a 6. He's still got to find an answer. Ooh, G-Man's up on jacks now.
Yeah, this is a pretty dicey situation for Romeo.
Yeah, but it looks like Romeo does have that 3 to get a lot of value cards that are in there. I think he's looking at the king. He might be looking at the ace, though. Oh, he picks up a 2. Nope. Oh, he can't decide.
Yeah, I think the 2 is not a bad choice here.
Not at all. He doesn't know that G-Man's got that second 2. Ooh, both of them on ace 2 and jacks to work with. I think we're going to have a bit of a scramble here. Romeo's this time picking up the big points.
Yeah, we're going to see how Romeo plays out this high points hand here. Going to have to see.
However it pans out, Romeo's been a top deck master. You know, there's a great line by Charlemagne. It's smarter to be lucky than it's lucky to be smart.
Yeah.
All right, G-Man threatening lethal right now with this 3 of clubs, and Romeo with no low cards to be able to deal with it. He does have the ace, but he does with the 2 backup, but another 2 will end his game here. I think right now, if you are Romeo, you actually look to jack the 10. Oh, and that's the game. He's going for the ace.
No, he can counter.
Yeah, too many games of cuddle. I counted the counter war wrong. He gets that ace off. G-Man's got to reload. Romeo, at this point, I think you need to reload again. There are too many unknowns in your opponent's hand.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's probably thinking that G-Man's sitting on some jacks, which would be correct. He can't know for sure, but it seems like a decent thought here. And G-Man with the oft-maligned glasses 8 here. G-Man knows what's coming. All right, so we've got the threat taking the 6, man, taking care of his own 8 glasses, but it's done its job. So here we are. Romeo's turn, taking a look through the scrap pile, seeing what's what. Knows there's still queens out there. Ooh, forces the issue and gets aced. Let's see what he does here. Plays the 9 to force the issue. G-Man smartly plays the queen as a defensive option.
Yep, showing the power of those queens still.
Yep.
Now, Romeo at this point is very tentative to pull out these 10s, understandably. We are at 16 cards left in the deck, and he knows that there are at least 3 jacks possible in G-Man's hand.
Yeah, absolutely right. And he knows some of those cards have not left his hand in some time.
Yep.
Probably thinking there's got to be at least 1 or 2 in there. So we'll see how Romeo decides to play out the rest of this. Decides to draw up a little bit.
And for those curious,
go ahead.
No, I was typing stuff in.
Romeo pops the king out, threatens. Can't jack it. But that's his first points card. Now he has to deal with it and scuttles 1.
Yep. And for those curious, at that point, the chance of G-Man having at least 1 jack was about a 90% chance. All right, now Romeo's been brought down of all of his resources, and G-Man picks up this game.
Yep. Pretty straightforward finish for that game from G-Man.
Yep, and that
just
puts G-Man at 2-1.
Yep, just wore his opponent out. This could be the round point for G-Man. Oh no,
Yep,
1-1. That was technically game 3.
That was game 3.
Yeah, they had a draw.
Yeah, so that made it 1-1 draw. So it was 1-1 draw, then G-Man won.
It was Romeo won, then G-Man won game 2.
Yes.
So now it's 1-1.
What?
Yeah, now it's 1-1.
Oh, that was game 3? Sorry, you're
that
right.
Was game,
right. Sorry,
that was game
yeah.
2, round 2. This is game 3 proper for scoring. So we are at 1-1 here.
Yeah, you're right.
Going into officially game 3.
Yeah.
And I think we should use games and rounds as a separate thing. Yeah. So if there's a remake or a stalemate, it's round 2.
I think that's
that'll help us not get confused. So here we are into game 3. G-Man playing the 6, counter the queen. G-Man countering the 6, keep his queen alive. Read that backwards.
Yep.
Let's see. Romeo drawing up.
G-Man not looking at a big thing.
No, he's not looking at a particularly strong hand. He has the 10 in hand and a jack.
Yeah, there is a way to track it, but we're not using it because of other things that happen when we use it to track, unfortunately.
Yeah,
what we really need to do is just have one of us write it down.
Yeah.
Which I now have done.
Cannot counter that 4. What is he going to get rid of here? Gonna have to make some tough decisions.
I mean, you're getting rid of at least I would say queen 7 in this situation.
I would almost go 7.
Maybe the jack. Maybe ace. Queen jack.
I would almost go 7 ace, because if you discard a queen, you are telling your opponent you have another one.
Yes. Yes, you are.
So.
No, he's going for queen ace. He doesn't think he's gonna need that ace in the future.
Well, it's interesting
because he doesn't have an answer. Yeah, I know, but he doesn't have an answer to that 10 of hearts now.
That is true. And now G-Man pulling back the other 2.
Yeah, if G-Man decides to go for aggro at any point and Romeo has not picked up a way to deal with that 10 of hearts, that's going to be game over.
We are.
Yep.
Pulls a king.
Now the 10 of spades.
Yeah. Yeah, he pulls the ace, though. That's going to bail him out a little bit.
All right. Well, now he's facing down the 2, so it doesn't matter. Ooh, now he's got the double kings. He'll be able to threaten something here.
And on the back foot, tempo-wise, I think...
Yep.
I think Romeo's got to threaten it.
You need to threaten it. You need to force that 2 to come out.
Yep.
100%.
That's what Romeo wanted. That was the best outcome that he could have hoped for there.
Yep. Now you gotta take it back a little. He could put out a 7 or a 9 to do jack trade and then force one of the 10s to scuttle. But what's gonna actually end up happening is that G-Man will end up then 4ing to take out all the cards from Romeo's hand and still have the 10s there to scuttle. So I think Romeo's got to draw here. And if he plays this 7 or 9, it's gonna be jack from G-Man, jack from Romeo, 4 from G-Man. All right, he's going for 7 for 1 off, which I don't fully understand the reasoning for this.
1 off into 1 off.
Okay, but again, like, what are you looking for? You're looking for points that give you lethal, and the 7 already gives lethal.
He's looking for content at this point.
And but that's why. He's looking just to create content.
Yeah, he's going for content, but we'll see. So he does play the second 7 for points.
Romeo, Rocket has pointed out that Romeo has been the top deck master this tournament. So who's to say that the luck will
and there comes the 4, maybe.
The 4.
Oh, G-Man is thinking about it.
Here comes the 4. That's what you do. You wipe out the hand.
Sorry, give me 1 second.
G-Man was worried about there potentially being a 2, but he then realized that the chances were that he had the 2, so it didn't matter. Now we get the scuttle with the 10. Romeo draws the jack, and now G-Man. Oh, G-Man knows that that jack's there, so when this 10 gets jacked, G-Man's already sitting there with the 2 ready. He gets the 10 spades back, and there's no answer. So here, using that 7 caused Romeo to lose, and that's it. And G-Man wins. He Now we've got G-Man 2, Romeo 1.
Sorry, I missed the end of that one. Who ended up winning?
It was exactly how I predicted, where that 7 being used there ended up just costing the game because it told G-Man what was going on.
All right.
5 min for G-Man. Oh, G-Man needs a quick break. All right, so we're actually, I say we all take a quick break then.
Yeah, I'm gonna
I'll be back in 5 minutes.
Yep, I'm gonna put on some royalty-free music, and we will be back in just a little bit. So just give us all a second to enjoy some relaxing music, and everybody stretch your legs, drink some water, use the bathroom, and we'll be right back. Well, it seems that we are right back into the action. They got back a little quicker than I did. So it looks like we are into game 4. G-Man being up 2-1. We have G-Man sitting on 10-9, 7-3-3 ace.
That was not 5 minutes.
No, it wasn't. But here we are into game 4. We have a king on the board for Romeo. Playing out a 7 to put a little bit of pressure. G-Man will be scuttling with the 9. We will be seeing what Romeo responds with here. And
Yeah, Romeo should be looking to draw here, facing down. Like, he just doesn't have enough resources to work with on the win. Now, oh, he's threatening the king, 10.
Could threaten the king, king 10 here. See what decides to do. Puts the 9 out. Forces the 10 scuttle.
Yeah, but I think he was trying to draw something else out to determine if he can go for the king, king 10. Or he's going to play the king. It's going to get the ace out. And now Romeo's going to be sitting on a huge card disadvantage. Down 2 cards. He's going to need some lucky draws to get himself out of this. G-Man picking up the 10 was really big. That 5 hitting 3 kings. If Romeo wants, he can try and go for just 3 kings, 8 for the victory.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not unheard of. It has happened before. I don't think G-Man's going to let it happen because he does have that too. If you're a G-Man here I 7 for the one-off because you need to find a different action card. That queen does mean that his 2 can go off without a hitch. Romeo's going to go for it, showing that he does not have the 10. All right, but now G-Man's going to 2 off that second king, and there's nothing that Romeo can do here to threaten it. And if G-Man plays this safe, he should be able to 3 back a 2 to be able to still fight this off.
Yeah, G-Man in a dominating position here. Huge card advantage. And Romeo.
Oh no, he picks up a jack. Romeo picks up that 3rd jack with no way to handle the queen. This G-Man gets the 6. This is G-Man's game to take away at this point. It's gonna be difficult for Romeo to get away from this, but if anything can deal with this lack of card advantage or this card disadvantage, it will be 3 jacks.
Yeah, he will have to go get really lucky and not let G-Man 3 for a queen. He does have enough points in hand to get the job done. But G-Man has the scuttle counters to deal with it. And there's the 3'd queen discussing, and sure that still works. Oh, good. So now we're looking at the potential 6 one-off for clearing that queen.
It still is possible for G-Man to not pull another way to get a queen out, so these jacks are useful. But I think G-Man is going to push come to shove as we get to the end game. Is going to play it safe and say, you know what, I'll just go for the stalemate then.
Yeah, I think G-Man still can definitely win this game, although nothing is moving on my the Discord streams.
I don't see anything either. I think we're just having someone think. Maybe I'm going to check in.
Okay. So potential technical difficulties or very deep thought. Not sure which yet. I'm going to take this time to drink some water because I have been talking for 3 hours. Oh. Well, we might have had a reset.
We're currently working on fixing it. Romeo had some type of technical issue occur.
Okay. See when Romeo gets his stream back up. All right, we're back in it, I hope.
Yep, here we go. All right, and there we go. And the one-off went off without a hitch.
There we go.
All right, so now this queen gets taken care of, and G-Man's just going to keep populating his deck. He gets that other queen. I don't see how Romeo takes away this game at this point anymore with 3 jacks in hand that are just completely dead. He'll be able to deal with this queen, but then G-Man can 3-back the queen. Unless I wasn't watching this entire game, so there still might be cards left that Romeo can get out with. But I think right now the best he can hope for is a stall. Oh, and now he's got the 2 to counter this 2. Oh, so okay, so there was a 3 and a 2 left. So Romeo still might be able to get to the stalemate here.
Mm-hmm. That is a possibility that he can pull this out.
Yep. So let's see what he's going for here. He's checking out the scrap pile, seeing if there's anything that he'd rather draw than getting the 2. Because remember, if he decides to use this 3, that means G-Man gets the 2, which is going to be a big fight in terms of keeping this queen alive or not.
Absolutely. And he knows probably that, or he thinks that G-Man probably already has 1 too. Or he should have been able to figure it out by now.
Well, theoretically, but who knows what's going on in their heads. It's been a lot of cuddle going on. All right, he decides to go for the 2, as he should, so that G-Man cannot pick up that 2. Even though G-Man then can get the 3 on the draw, it is going to force stuff out of him. At this point, I do not see how Romeo gets out of this. I mean, just drawing those 3 jacks was just devastating.
Yeah, unfortunately, that seems like it's going to be end of the tournament for Romeo and his miracle run through the losers bracket here. That is a bit unfortunate for sure.
Yep, and we're going to see a DP-G-Man rematch, if I remember correctly. Yep. So we're gonna see the semifinals of winners go back to the grand finals.
Yep. That's going to be an exciting...
Or sorry, the finals of winners go to the grand finals.
Yep. But it will mean that DP only needs to beat an opponent he's already beaten once. In one set. 1 best of 5. Whereas G-Man will need to win 2 consecutive best of 5s to take the title.
Indeed.
Let's see here.
Romeo's trying to figure out his way out.
Yeah, I don't think there's a way out, buddy.
He can't seem to find it, and that's because you are trapped in. G-Man has set up his trap and gone. So, while we wait for this game to play out, oh, hold on. Oh, no. Okay. While we wait for this game to play out, to give some interesting story on this meta change that we were talking about earlier. When Cuddle was first found by Aleph, and him and I were first playing it and talking about ways to, like, you know, make the rules and make it competitive and stuff, the original rule did not have a hand limit. So what ended up happening is that you had games where people would draw until we were talking about 17, 20, 23 cards in hand. And then what would happen is Aleph would not do this because this is just not where his brain goes. But like, I would sit there and I would calculate and figure out exactly what his hand was, and I would just play out the game and say, this is how I win, given the way that the draws were gone. And that very quickly changed, and we got rid of that to install a hand limit because it was not a fun way to play. But on that, going back, G-Man does take this game, moves on to the grand finals, and unfortunately, I do need to head out. However, Aleph One, the creator of cuttle-cards himself, is going to come on and finish out the shoutcasting with us.
Yep.
All right, you guys all have a wonderful night. You might want to reset the Google Meet.
Oh, yeah, actually, let me do.
So I will... Hopefully, I might be able to jump back in, but very unlikely. You guys have a fantastic night. Good games of cuddles, and we'll see you on the Discord. Don't forget to check out our Discord. Don't forget, if you are loving what you see and you want to help support us, please, you can give some to our Patreon to help keep The server is running. You can check us out on the Discord, and we'll see you there.
Yep. Thank you very much, Solmen. I am going to take over here. Just going to set up a new connection because we are already using Discord to do all the streaming. So this is the scuffed way that we have figured out how to do so I can watch and stream and we can have the commentators speak openly without having any issues. Welcome, Aleph. How are you, my friend?
Hey, Toph. I am well.
So we've got a pretty exciting final here. It looked like it might be a rematch of round 1 here with DP and Romeo, but it looks like it's going to be G-Man versus DP, a rematch of our winners final, where DP only has to win 1-3 best of 5, and then G-Man has to pick up 2 in a row to take the title.
But that said, G-Man has been a constant threat this entire, not only season, but really the whole game.
Yeah, he really is an excellent player. It looks like we're about to get into game. Pull that up. Thankfully, Discord has finally decided to settle down on me.
Awesome, thank you so much.
Mostly worked out for us.
This thing.
Letting them know that.
Okay, I am set. If you are Toph.
Yep, I just put it in the channel that we're good to go.
Yeah, y'all are ready to play. Have at it. Okay.
All right, well, let's get right into it. So here we see DP starting with Queen 6-3-2-2. A pretty strong hand. Queens and 2s have been really, really central to wins in this tournament. And G-Man starting with King 8-7-6-4-3. A pretty mid-rangey hand. Lots of options. We'll see how he decides to play it.
For that queen is
early 6 for that queen. And DP letting it go. Not afraid to let that happen.
Okay, first substantive play on the board.
The 5 into
7s, going for a permanent one way or another. It's glasses. Okay, an early glasses. Will this be punished with aggression? How long will the glasses get to sit there giving G-Man information?
G-Man decides to pop the 4, let it rip, and see what he can get. Not a lot of 4 plays.
So what'll they drop? And at 8 cards, there's a lot of opportunity to decide what to.
What's important to you here?
Yeah. DP keeping the double 2s, of course. Otherwise, they would have countered. Going to ditch the Jack 3. So that still leaves a potentially strong offense, which is often a great answer to glasses 8s. Oh, but the second 4. DP has the leeway to counter here. They need to if they want to keep their offensive options.
Yeah, absolutely. Check. That is check, but it will get scuttled by the 10 of clubs from G-Man's hand here. And I think DP absolutely needs to draw back up.
Right. But now enough.
Yeah.
Back at it. Check again.
Yeah, just forcing resources.
Just barely short.
Oh, and that's huge too.
That king is excellent. That is
G-Man does not have a response.
Potentially, that is game.
If he has to counter.
There's
he has
no
to
reason
counter.
Not to. Yeah, and
he has to counter. And there it is.
And
that's game 1.
Game. Wow, DP coming in hot.
Yeah,
folks, that is
DP Bryan has really had G-Man's number.
Yeah.
I mean it was a 3-2 victory in the winners finals, but man alive, were those some fireworks.
Yeah. Yeah. And the offensive run there from DP was so edge of your seat, trading efficiently, keeping G-Man on the back foot the entire game. And G-Man, who's like been a season champion multiple times.
Yeah,
at this point,
absolutely.
Right?
And
fantastic play.
A perennial threat. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And by far the person I have the worst
DP
win rate against.
Points.
Let's see.
Phenomenal player. But
Fires
Okay,
off the
DP's got
2
the
to
board.
take out DP's queen. What is
Yep.
DP? You know,
Okay.
I know
John.
this might ruffle some feathers, but the 5 plays,
I
man.
know. I've been listening. That's such ruffling, but that's great. I love
Yeah,
that this is
5 into
contested.
double 2s, like
Yeah.
5 into, queens, a queen and something. Like, man, there's been some real power plays
Yeah.
coming
I
out
hear
from
you.
some of those double card draws. Just the absolute god cards. He's debating whether to take back the 2 here or take back the queen. I think both has their
Jack.
positive, both has their negative.
So notably, G-Man does not have the offensive tools to push for a win currently, but they're sitting on strong board position with the points and the queen and the 2 in hand. Oh, double 2s. So G-Man has everything but a win condition, basically, because they've got such a strong board with 2s to cover and a 3 to just recurse those 2s as long as they possibly need. They're like, of course, I'll counter. I can just spend another 2 if I need it. But now suddenly G-Man's got a threatening hand. This is a terrifying position.
Yeah, this may, as quickly as the
Oh,
last...
but the 6 in this case is exactly what they need. It's countered, but now they're out of 2s.
But G-Man can 3 the
so
2
they
back.
3 for a 2, but it's not yet checked. So DP has another opportunity. If they should have aced. Oh my gosh, they're drawing. Okay, because now it's too late. But if there was a moment where an early ace would have forced the counter yet again, changing the calculus, suddenly DP would have had at least one turn of a safe one-off opportunity into check. It was so close, though. And drawing is, of course, tempting when you're at in such a tense moment. Having more options is always appealing.
Yeah, absolutely. These have been firecracker matches going so far. My word.
Is high at the
Double
Cuddle
Kings
World Championship.
has the 6 to counter.
Oh, the punishment.
Oh, the greed there from G-Man.
Yeah.
Just very uncharacteristic.
And when they're 1-1 in a best of 5, I can appreciate that the high payoff was there. There was the opportunity for a quick win that just wouldn't have been answered. Now the question is, can DP really punish it? 6 is not counterable.
Yep, but he kept the queen in reserve.
Indeed.
So as not to make it too painful for himself.
Pushing back, that's so bold.
I think G-Man...
DP could push.
But G-Man can scuttle anything except for the 10 of hearts.
And then the 4 would be devastating, which it already will be. But there it is. They have to ditch their win condition. Now
they got another.
Oh my gosh. Nail-biting moment there.
Second queen doesn't help him. Ace doesn't really help him either. 5 could be powerful there. Do you 3 for the 10 of diamonds here? Oh, but G-Man pulled the 10 of hearts.
G-Man has been sitting on the 10 of hearts. That's how they could have scuttled, right? Or no.
No, it was the 10 of diamonds. They pulled the 10 of hearts.
The club.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah, that is...
But that 10 of spades, oh, that's unfortunate.
Respecting the jack by choosing the ace there for the 1-for-1. But G-Man basically played a 7 and traded it for the 10 of spades, which is a great upward swing.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a
G-Man's
huge...
sitting on initiative.
Yeah, he's got a lot of power there.
If they just play, but the jack from DP could potentially turn that around, though they'd have to bluff because DP doesn't have a really effective offense at this point.
Uh-oh.
So G-Man could push right now.
There we go. So
but a jack
pulls a jack and an 8.
Yep. Granted, I mean, the jack is dead as long as DP's got the queen.
Well, I mean, DP pulled the jack and the 8 off his 5 there. And
yes. Those jacks
now he can
really helpful.
Choose. This is a tough choice. I think you ditch the queen here.
Yeah. Because you've got one on the board. But then what's the other card? A jack, perhaps? Still sort of ahead in the jack war. If,
Yeah.
ditching the ace. Okay, so pushing for offense. Says, I don't need an ace. I'm going to win. Let's go. But scuttled.
Yeah. Stymied again. Hasn't really been. Oh, the third queen is
G-Man
just.
has such offensive tools right now, but playing into the jack will hurt like hell because it'll turn it around. G-Man doesn't have a 6, so they can't deal with all these royals.
Yeah, with DP
DP
sitting
going for the
on.
second queen? Okay. 7. Pulls a 2. They can destroy the queen. But now
And this
DP
is what
held on
this
that
is
other
what
queen.
DP has been waiting for.
Yeah, like, great. You're going to spend a 2 for this? Well, I'll just drop another.
Fabulous. Don't
Yeah.
mind if I do.
All right,
Just
that's
pushing.
check. Barely able to scuttle their way out. Well, G-Man has one other big scuttling threat with that 10. They don't want to spend it that way, though, because G-Man's hoping to push for the
Pulling
win
the
with
2, though.
Is big. That's queen 2 combo for the uncounterable counter, but DP doesn't have the offense to push.
Yeah, he's in a tough
Let
spot.
it go.
Yeah,
Okay,
you gotta
so
let it
G-Man
go. And
takes a
G-Man
2.
pulls double 2s.
Oh, going for another 3, but double 2 won't beat queen 2 if the queen is on the board at the pivotal moment. What does G-Man want? A king. Okay, so G-Man is looking to push perhaps this next turn with king, king 10. DP needs to answer somehow.
He might have to.
The 6.
He might have to take the 6.
Yeah,
and just eat that kind
and
of L.
DP's at a full hand of 8 cards. They have to play. That's awkward, this situation, because another draw would be helpful given that they're gonna have to go down in value. Okay,
that's a good bluff.
That's a bluff, but
that's a good bluff, though.
G-Man respect it? They do, and that affords the opportunity to draw, get another answer. If the 6 is gonna go down for DP, it's gonna hurt.
Oh, and another 2. That's huge.
So now they could 2 their way out of this if they want.
I think they have. I think you still 6 here
because they would have the queens. I mean, granted, DP's still sitting on queen 2, even with that. Okay, 2 back, but this is great. Trading 2s for queens when you're sitting on more of them is an excellent.
Yeah, that's great value
for DP. Drawn towards the end of the deck.
Pulled the 3. DP pulling the 3. What is he going to take?
Get the 10 of spades.
Yeah.
Oh, now
what a
all
play.
Of a sudden, and a 7, because it has to be this turn. If DP gets to play their offense, it is good game.
Oh, G-Man's gonna have to
decide
what to do.
They chain the 7. They dig deeper. They need a 6. Really. I'm not sure if there is another one though, because DP's sitting on 2 6s.
Nope, the 4 is the last card.
Oh gosh, that is such a whiff. I missed that as well. Oh,
I think you do ace queen here.
It doesn't matter, because whatever they play the 10 of spades next turn. Can't be scuttled. Queen protects the jack.
Yeah,
there's nothing to be done. DP's got it. That's 2-1 for DP. I mean, there's really no way for even a catastrophic choke in this moment, because
you just counter it for the manners.
Right. Just showing that you got it, and then boom.
Yeah, 2-1. Here we are. This is DP match point.
On a roll. It is.
This is match point for DP Brian. DP Brian, what an absolute monster. Even if G-Man pulls a rabbit out of a hat and turns this around somehow, DP Brian just absolutely has been monstrous.
Yes. Phenomenal play.
Yeah, I think 4-5. Okay. Pull back some resources. Oh, we got a little desync on our end. There we go. Pulls the 2 and a 10. Countered. Doesn't want to give up those cards. Can't really argue with that.
So DP's up on value.
Absolutely. I think he jams it.
Yeah. Oh, drawing now king 10.
Yep.
Always threatening, but into the 6. that could be the opportunity to get back on value that G-Man needed after that first scrap. Now it is an even playing field.
I think that was a smart play that was a calculated gamble from DP because he already had 2 6s. So it's like, well, what are the chances of him having the third 6? You know, if he hasn't played it by now.
Yeah.
Currently, DP who is on the left is up 2-1 and is in the winner's bracket. So this could be the final game if DP wins. G-Man on the right has to win this best of 5 and then a following best of 5 to reset the bracket and then win. Basically, at any point now,
from down
2-1 in the first round, in the first potential best of 5. Jack's the other 9.
You know,
and
G-Man could have played points there instead of the jack to threaten check while costing less. Now G-Man doesn't have the jack up their sleeve after scuttled out of this.
Yep.
It stings a little more that way. But they can continue to push an offense with 2 in hand, so they've got the counter for the ace. The only answer is to scuttle.
Scuttle's the 10. It's the value there.
Yeah. DP thinking. Draws a goon.
Pulls the 10. Pulls a queen. Oh, but G-Man plays the queen on top.
Into the 6. Okay, do you counter? Yes, G-Man counters. With the spade, rarely matters, but the heart is available.
That did actually come up in a game, not the suit of the 2.
Okay, big check.
Yep.
What do we got? An ace. No counter available. Oh, draws a 10 of spades. So G-Man is sitting on the initiative. They've got the threat at any moment to potentially clinch the game, but DP sitting on a lot of value. Just drew the 6. If this goes their way, it's a 2-for-1, devastating.
Yeah, very strong value play from DP. DP is unfazed by playing someone of this aggression. And usually people fall apart under the withering attacks coming from G-Man.
G-Man is
just unending.
But here we go. DP pushing their own offense. Got queens on both sides. That's check from DP and into an ace behind the queen. Gets the 2-for-1. So G-Man now suddenly sitting on the value.
Devastating.
That follow-up. The surest way to punish an offense that you otherwise turn around. Such salt in the wound to additionally land the 4.
Yeah, absolutely. The 4s have been absolutely devastating this tournament. A lot of people really learning the value of the low cost, like the low hand 4.
4, yeah. It just hits like a truck.
Yeah, you're like, oh, you've got 3 cards and need 2 to win? Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah.
That's a mighty big shame you got there.
What does DP want from the scrap?
Does he want
the 4th card? The 6. Okay.
He really likes that 6 of spades. He's been pulling that back a lot of games.
All right, so DP does not have the ability to win. And the question is, can they save from a loss? This is looking very strong for G-Man at the end of the deck here.
Yeah. G-Man.
But the ace.
G-Man needs to bait the ace.
Indeed.
Because
it looks like it's going to be a stalemate, though, unless DP whiffs.
Yeah, DP just needs to play a little bit cautious. He can pass here.
A little bit of technical difficulty. I think G-Man doesn't know to refresh their page. G-Man, refresh the page.
Yeah, he's working on it. Technical difficulty. Everyone, these things happen. There we go. But it still says it's his turn.
So, okay, it looks like
DP passed. DP passed.
Yeah,
that's exactly what DP needed to do.
Right, because
nothing.
Yeah.
He needed to do not something boneheaded.
And they did it perfectly.
They
with
aplomb.
Yep.
With aplomb, really.
Yep, very well played.
So this is game 4, round 2. We've been using that terminology a little bit more just to indicate stalemates, so we don't get really confused about what the actual score of the games are. So, yeah, that was a slugfest. Here we are into game 4, round 2. No royals
Both
on the
players
side
just
of
drawing.
DP, and
Who's going to be first to land? Ooh, glasses from
big
G-Man.
glasses
Okay.
here.
DP coming in with some offense to answer. No jacks from G-Man.
It's not match point. It is match point for DP, but not for G-Man. It's 2-1 still with this stalemate. Benoni. And even if it was match point, or even if G-Man had 2 wins, if he wins this, he just resets the bracket, which would mean he needs to win another best of 5. Oh, we seem to have lost DP's stream here. Oh, there we go. We're back. Yeah, no worries. So here we are, playing the 6 out to clear the queen and the glasses. Would love some pixels on DP's stream. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
But no, doing what we can.
That's check.
That is check.
G-Man scuttles her way out.
Yep.
DP no longer has the offensive tools to push, but those jacks will hit hard. If
those jacks are going to be potentially devastating.
10 of hearts is exactly what DP wants right now. It's points that G-Man can't scuttle.
Not easily, no. G-Man's digging for an answer here.
Oh, that'll do. That'll do. They go for the double 7.
Double.
It could have been countered. That would have been actually beautiful. If DP countered it, there wouldn't have been the option to scuttle. Then 10 of hearts can't be scuttled. And but a follow-up 7 could have pulled the same card anyway.
So there's the queen. I think you counter this.
Sitting on the 2s, got that option.
Got 2 2s. I think you do that.
But they do have the 2 advantage. So if it comes to countering, they are likely to win anyway. And with the jacks also, the possible things that their queen defends them against are not as inherently scary.
Maybe not, but I think just the pressure that a queen puts on and forcing G-Man to burn additional resources, because in that critical moment, G-Man has that 2 still, burns it on the queen, and you just counter it again, like, is potentially quite valuable, I think.
But depending on what G-Man pulls, if DP plays offense right now, G-Man may not have an answer.
And responds. I think now do you counter it the second time?
What are we...
Is it
G-Man
worth it?
digging for?
It was worth it too. He could just pull the 2 here.
Yeah, he could. Oh, he pulls a queen though, or does he take the 2?
Yeah, he takes it. There's no way.
I would. Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been a blunder and a half, and very
agreed.
G-Man. Oh, that jack.
The queen here gives G-Man queen powerful. 2. Now G-Man can't be countered. So if they ace, for example, they could get a clean 2 for 1. Suddenly, DP doesn't have offensive options that get out of G-Man's kit.
Yeah, it's a little bit tricky for DP. Been showing excellently though. So far, I think in this tournament, if there's someone who can get out of the situation, I think it's probably going to be DP.
We'll see.
Potentially double 4s from G-Man.
We got 2 4s on both sides now.
Potentially
the first
devastating.
To play a 4 might get the other person to discard their 4s as well.
Yeah.
Or like 4 or 5.
Goes for the queen play. Gets forward. Discards the 4, just as you said. Plays the king. Puts him in check. Ace 1 off. Clears the board. 2 aces on both sides. Aces again. G-Man's now out of aces.
Yep. But DP's out of offense.
Unless, yeah.
They can't push anything.
Yeah. The queen
Oh,
power
they could
against
bluff,
Jack.
but to what end? So they want to try to force G-Man to 6 their own queen, perhaps.
Goes for the 2-play. Plays the king. Now he can play a 4. Draw Jack safely. Oh, no. DP just has half a dead hand.
That queen completely blocking the. Oh, okay.
Here we are.
This is exactly that play. They 6. They
Oh, and he
force
pulls the
G-Man to
last
6
king.
their own queen.
Oh, no, but G-Man has
suddenly these
double
jacks are online.
3s.
Yes. So a queen from G-Man will
Would
hurt
end
like
the
hell
game.
because DP cannot.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's going to be it. So that will put us at 2-2.
Likely. Like G-Man is going to need to play it smartly still and use that other 3, I think, to pull a 2 so they can get past the double ace. Oh my gosh. Okay. Because the thing is, DP could still angle for a stalemate.
Absolutely.
With the double aces, but not necessarily. If G-Man is clever and patient, I think the tools they have in hand can squeak around both the jacks and the 2 aces, but maybe not.
Going for the king.
So a king really helps reduce the threat of any individual ace because all of a sudden a 2-for-1 is no longer on the table for DP, which means each of those can only get 1 card.
Yeah, and he wins anyway.
Yep, there it is. G-Man's got it. The king really did a lot of work because otherwise each of those aces could be threatening 2 cards and be twice as effective.
Yeah, that was a
heck of a game.
2-2.
Holy cow.
So this is either for DP to take the whole kit and caboodle or for G-Man to reset the bracket and we go to 0-0 again.
Yeah.
All square. Let's see what happens.
This has been an incredible tournament.
Yeah, it's been wild for sure. Like, it's just so many crazy plays, so many crazy
upsets.
Yeah. Okay, here we are into game 5.
Neither player has an offense that they can push.
Nope.
Suddenly, G-Man does. And a strong one at that with a 2 in hand. Oh, King 10 with 2 in hand is a threatening possibility.
Yep. Here we are.
Okay, the 7. Will the heart of the cards save the day? No, not today. So King 10, the only answer is to 9 or 7 because this 2 will be countered.
Yep.
So the 2 would have paid off, but it doesn't. Whew.
There it is.
Okay, and that is the first match of the finals, or the grand finals. Yep. So now this is
the bracket reset of the grand finals. All square 0-0.
Correct. Now it's a bracket reset, so you play another best 3 out of 5. I'll enter the finals one now. So that was 2-3 G-Man. Very well played, both of you. And now both. Okay.
BLT Rocker, we do not have I don't know if there's a win percentage off the top of my head tracking, but for context, G-Man is the number 2 seed coming into this tournament, and DP is the number 9 seed. So it would be a pretty big upset.
That said, it is possible to calculate, though it's not as straightforwardly put together as total. So we can count the number of times that they played in ranked. They haven't played so far this season at all. In spades, they didn't play
Here we
either.
are, game
so that was
one.
the entirety of last season.
DP dropping the early queen. The respect from G-Man. Countered. No, lets it ride. Let's see what DP decides to do here. G-Man with double twos. Plays the 4.
Okay, I just looked back at the stats pages to calculate their win rate, and I'm amazed to see that despite the fact that both of these players have played since the club's season, like the first ever season of competitive cuddle a year ago, they have played a total of 1 match in that entire year.
That's insane.
And DP took it.
Huh.
And G-Man, again, like top of the leaderboard, 2-time season champion.
G-Man takes game 1 here in the bracket reset with a withering offense off the rip.
Oh my goodness. But what a nail biter. So despite coming from the winner's bracket, like DP overall, the underdog in this tournament, certainly by seed and by previous tournament appearances.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
Yet,
DP's
playing
got some
so
real
well.
power, though, this time.
Yeah.
Queen 10, double twos. Got a king to back it up.
Good tools. Okay, not yet check. Ooh, 4s hurt when you're going all in for an early offense. DP's got the chance to counter and back out. But if they resolve it, then they can't keep the 2 and enough offense.
Points.
Yeah. But they go for it, and now what? Okay, so we could see
now
the 4.
The 4.
It hurts. It hurts.
Its metal.
But okay, now what though? They have the 10 of spades. G-Man's relying on a dead draw or their 7. Their 7 has to get them out of this. Oh my gosh.
7 has to pull a 6 right now.
Oh, 2. It's not enough. That's good game.
Yeah, so that's 2 games down in less than 5 minutes.
Oh, DP.
1-1.
Amazing.
1-1 in the final, the real grand
DP,
final.
So a huge part of high-level cuddle play is identifying when you have the tools to push for a win. And right there, DP had strong cards, and they used them effectively. It is so tempting to look to draw.
That's a rough.
And that's strong. But a queen does a good bit to mitigate the effectiveness of those.
Oh, and he pulls a 2 and a king to follow it up. Pulls another 5, gets the points. Now he's got the tools.
Yeah. Second queen, that's a happy trade. I think points are a more diversified offense, but they also fall victim to the ace. So here we see a 2. Do they counter? Do they let it happen? If they let it happen, then they have a 2 available for the upcoming ace, but G-Man's sitting on him. Yeah, okay. Continuing to push.
8 for points.
Scuttled again. G-Man respecting the possible ace, or respecting the possible counter.
Yep. I think, yeah, he needs to draw up right now. Looking for that queen back.
G-Man's sitting on a 3 as well. Ooh, 4 against 4 cards in hand. That really makes you question your priorities in life.
Yeah, sure does. I've definitely never done that to SUBMARINO 3 times in a game. There's the queen, though. 3 pulling back a 6 here. That's devastating.
That'll slow you down. DP doesn't have the points. Go for considering a 3, but thought better of it.
Yep.
Okay. G-Man
Dealing with
discards
the
2
aces.
aces. Oh man. They're both filling up again. Who's going to be the first to push?
I think
Who's
it's
got
got to
the
be
guts?
G-Man here.
Okay, taking a queen back.
One-offing a 7. 4 would be devastating here. Takes the king. Thinks better of it. Let's see. Seeing what Romeo wants to do.
DP.
I've casted a lot of games of Cuddle today,
yeah,
man.
it's been a whirlwind.
Yeah. Been casting Cuddle for 4 hours now.
Yeah, this is the biggest Cuddle tournament in the history of the game.
Yeah.
Over 50 years.
Yeah. Sure it is. I don't doubt it at all. Pulls the 6. Could nuke it all. Does so. Goes for the nuclear option
Big
with the
6.
queen. Oh, and the 6 top deck, though, from G-Man. That's rough. Brings him back to all square.
Not many cards left in the deck.
I think you hold on to those
Ooh,
4s.
that is a rough 7. The
Yeah.
heart of the cards were
not with
unkind.
that one.
Yeah. So are we going to see some King 4 action? Going hot for the 10. The low points are stronger if jacked here.
Going for the scuttle. I think you 5
All
draw
right.
here.
Pushing it. Getting
Forcing
scuttled
the
again.
issue. Forcing the issue. I think you 5 draw.
All right. The old King 4. Trading up since 1978. Who knows? But see, this is great because even if this is jacked, right, it still wouldn't be check. Okay, now reloading. G-Man comes back with a check, not a bluff. Will DP respect it? There's not many cards in the deck, so the odds are pretty solid that G-Man's got it.
Yeah.
Oh, but that doesn't get you out of this situation. It's not enough.
Not
Doesn't
enough.
respect the 10. All right.
Yeah. So it's 2-1.
That's 2-1.
G-Man match point to take it all back.
That's 2-1 G-Man.
Yeah, 2-1 G-Man to take it all the way from loser's bracket. Admittedly, he had a very short stint in the loser's bracket, but you know.
Indeed. This could be it.
Could be it. I think that
Toph, do you remember who went first?
I think that I think jamming those 4s probably would have been better with using them as one-offs and then using the 5 to draw like he
Could
did
very well be
a little bit earlier, giving him more options and forcing 2-for-1s instead of 1-for-1s. The 4s. Because 4s are very easily scuttleable. Which is a hell of a mouthful to say. Scuttleable.
Yeah, scuttleable, but it is a delicious mouthful when you say it.
Yes, it's a pretty good one.
Like how the 10 of spades is unscuttleable.
Oh, God.
Just rolls off the tongue.
Yep, just rolls off the tongue like a cactus. Unscuttleable. Yeah. Freaking alphabet soup coming.
Yeah, ooh, the 3 card 4.
Does he counter it?
Or does he keep just the 2?
Counters it.
Yeah.
Double aces, values it, tops decks another 2.
That really helps.
He really wants that queen gone.
Yep.
Oh, heartbreak.
Seeing it again.
Hi, remember me?
Yeah, yeah. It's like in Beer Fest when a character landfill dies, and then momentarily later they just bring in his long lost brother, and they're like, you know what? It's easier if we just call you landfill too. You know, it's like you never left.
Oh, geez. He's the king. DP's really on the back foot here. Has not had the
Indeed.
opportunity to get resources or keep them for any meaningful advantage here.
G-Man playing for value.
Yep, that's all G-Man has to do at this point. He's up in cards. He's up in value. Double 7 here. Burn some more cards. Can easily take that 10. Jam it for points.
Interesting.
9 bounces the queen. All right.
I don't understand why. But okay. Didn't want to play points, maybe fearing a jack, perhaps.
Perhaps.
But the 10 now is all for DP. Which means they've got a stronger offense and scuttling options that could really help. Okay, DP again trying to get rid of that queen, just cannot get these jacks to function for him.
Yeah, that's been a common theme, is just the queens are just so powerful that jacks are just dead cards most of the time.
But when they get to do their thing, they shine so bright. I mean, stealing a card while getting it on the field and taking something away from your opponent, it's both offense and defense at the same time. The trade in value is like costing you 0 because you still get a card for 1, and you go up on initiative. Like you get +1 and they get -1. It's just so strong when a jack does its thing.
Wow, triple 10s here in the face of aces and 4s. Pretty brutal.
Right. DP sits on those. Yeah, the aces really are what DP just doesn't have an answer to at this time. They need a 2.
I think they're all gone at this point, though.
Indeed. No 3s left. So
yep.
DP just doesn't really. Well, that said, now that they have a king.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. They have to scuttle.
Why would the 10 of spades off the bat?
To send a message.
Yeah. Okay, so DP scuttles their way out.
Yep.
We might be looking at a stalemate.
I think
we are. DP scuttles again.
Yep. It's just a scuttle fest, and there we go. Scuttles out.
All right, so and now nobody's got the points.
Yep.
That's that.
Yep. And
all right, so that leaves it 2-1 for G-Man.
Yep. Going into game 4, round 2 of this grand finals. Ridiculous that it's gone this long.
It's been a climactic run. Yeah.
It's been pretty wild, that's for sure. Go home. I like that button.
Yeah. All caps.
Just go home. You know, it's over, man. Go home.
All right.
I need to run to the bathroom as well. So
all right, if I'll hold down the fort, of course. Yeah, so we are going in to the 6th game of this set. DP is 1-2 against G-Man. The 2 stalemates don't count towards the score in this best of 5. Looks like both players are getting set. And as we wait, I mean, it's a good time to reflect on some of the context of these two players coming into the tournament. So G-Man overall has been a tournament favorite since early in the inception of competitive cuddle. They were the season champion for both clubs and um, diamonds. But DP has been the winner's bracket contender, playing so well all tournament. All right, DP considering going for check. They do. G-Man scuttles their way out of it. G-Man considering to keep up the offense. The jack now is very scary. There it is. So 2 here is blocked by the queen. Okay.
Right.
Lightning cuddle here.
Back.
Holy cow. Okay. So what a scrap we have here. That's check, but DP's got the jacks to defend themselves, or they can't scuttle their way out of it. So jacks are their only defensive option, but it's strong.
Right.
A 6 is no good for G-Man here. They really want to switch control of the points, but here's yet another jack from DP. It's the perfect answer.
Yeah, and
However,
G-Man's in a spot.
G-Man could push. That's check, though. And DP needs an answer, and the 7 is their only option. Heart of the cards, indeed. They got a way out. Okay, so they could either scuttle or play the ace to destroy both. The scuttle is
think they
probably
scuttle
more
here.
efficient. Yeah.
Scuttle is better.
Because that way G-Man can't draw the 10 themselves.
Yes, exactly, and put themselves in the same situation. It's forcing G-Man to whatever reason he has and get his own way out. And the ace ends up with the same situation anyway.
Neither player has enough to win right now, so they both need to improve their hands. That jack is really handy right in time, but the 4 against 2 cards in hand, I mean, this is a scramble.
Brutal.
What does G-Man draw is the question. It's enough. It is enough. And G-Man wins it. So that is the tournament.
Yeah, there it is.
3,
G-Man.
2, and 2. Very well played.
What a run from
Oh my gosh,
DP,
what a
though.
run. That was fantastic.
What an absolutely wonderful set of games from both players. That was ridiculous.
Yeah. So well done.
And so wonderful to see new players getting in on the top end of
Indeed.
what is possible.
And we've had a number. I mean, DP has been an underdog this entire tournament and came in so well all the way through the finals.
Yeah, and Romeo making a deep run as well, including knocking you out, I might add.
Indeed. Yeah, and a fantastic game. They bluffed me so beautifully with a king-king offense, and I fell for it and played a 6 on my own stuff that cost me the final game of that match. It was beautifully played.
Yeah, so Romeo was playing. I mean, everyone was playing very well.
Almost a finalist as well.
Yeah.
But Dan Man also a very new player, came in at the very end of the Spades season, but placed top 4 in the Spades championship, and then made their way well through the tournament all the way to losers round 2. We played a really close set.
Yeah, there's lots of excellent players out there who've done very, very well. New players, old players. The level of play in Cuddle these days is absolutely terrifying.
It's never been better, I think.
I am concerned for when I have time to jump back into this game. I'm going to be a child in a pool with sharks. It's going to be great.
That said, it's always like the play sessions every week are completely open to beginners. We're happy to show new players the ropes, and time and again, we've been seeing new players coming out of nowhere and really shaking up the competitive scene. But there's no pressure to compete or to sort of sweat it Wednesday night cuddle or the Thursday play session.
Yeah, absolutely. We have new people coming in all the time. And Aleph runs all of those nights himself, and the day during the day cuddle for lunch on Thursdays. So if you have an interest, I will start posting links. Woo! Please join our Discord. That is our home, basically, for all things community based. I typed it in the wrong place. I'm the best. Go. There's the Discord. If you this VOD will be up, and we will be putting it up eventually on our YouTube channel in its entirety, or at least what the games that we were able to stream. So if you want to see these again, look forward to that. They'll come out when we get there, because everybody here is working as a volunteer, and so we sometimes have to take a little extra time to get things done. But again, thank you, everybody. Check out our Discord. Come play with us on Wednesday nights and Thursdays around lunchtime. And see you all next time.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.
Bye-bye.